go on a spending spree. They are still over the cap, but this was a necessary.
That they moved the full freight. This is the fourth consecutive year they have moved his money around. So, yeah, this is why the contract exists. It's the fourth year they've done this. And so every year, and I think they're out of time next year.
80-something million next year.
If you'd asked me 2 years ago, I kind of thought that this year would have been the break point for tear it up, start a new contract, let's get from new. But, they bought one more year, the injury, all the other stuff, and, fine. Maybe the number made sense because next year, like you mentioned, the cap number is $85 million. So it is hard to imagine a world in which, they go back into that boat. So we'll see. But this is the kind of thing and the reason why, and we should thank Mahomes every time. The way that they structured his deal and the way that they talked about it at the time, in a weird way, Gold, even though we talked about the way this contract had these guaranteed mechanisms and the way it could reset this, it was even better. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Even better than it was advertised. Gold, they just created $40 million in cap space because of this deal. They've had to move his money around 4 straight years to stay under the cap. If he had a regular contract, they'd be screwed. Right? They'd just be in trouble. And so I just think there's so much to it at this point. And when you really, really, really seek it out, you learn the lesson that is this contract is here to save them. And every single year it is. And this year they needed the maximum saving. So they went to go get it. I do think that they have maybe a little bit more money than you do. Not Alec Pierce money. Not we're going to go give somebody $150 million in free agency money. But I do think the fact that this move alone and the amount that they moved indicates to me that they do maybe want a few more dollars to spend. Because it could have just moved 40, 38. Right? There were other ways. We talked about this.
And they will still do some of these
Chris
other
Jones,
ones, yeah.
and some of these others. Cut Jawan Taylor, move Chris Jones. There's other people to cut. Dana. There's other moves you can make to free it up, but he did it in a single swoop. They're now, I don't know, a few $1 million. They cut Jawan Taylor, and they're in the black. They can pay for their draft picks. Done. Without doing anything else in their contracts. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think this does not, anybody who's been paying attention, this does not surprise them. My only worry, I guess, and you're right, there's other moves that they're going to make to free up more space. Jawan Taylor's the obvious one. I don't want them doing this exact same thing, though, for Chris Jones. That to me would be the mistake. Mahomes, you're comfortable doing it. You structure the contract.
10 years from now.
Yeah, you're good. He's your quarterback. He's the best in the league. Chris Jones, I do not want them to do this exact same thing to free up more space. Now, maybe they will be willing to do that. I think that would be a mistake, as we discussed last week on the Chiefs offseason show. You can cut Jawan Taylor. You could theoretically cut Drew Tranquill to free up money. Mike Dana to free up some money. These are fairly easier moves you can make. If you restructure Chris Jones, I don't think that's the contract you're comfortable kicking down the road, considering his age.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
Frankly, the performance that now maybe you're getting in terms of production out of him. So that's my only thing. I hope this is the last player that gets a massive restructure. I'm okay if they want to restructure Trey Smith. He got a new deal last year.
It's crazy to have to already restructure.
He's young enough, but they could restructure him and free up, I think it's $7 million.
Yep.
So they have other moves I would rather them make besides trying to restructure Chris Jones and put themselves in a bad spot moving forward.
Are you still surprised that no other team has adopted this contract methodology? Or is it just, this is the only team who can do it because this is the only team who actually wants their quarterback under control for a decade? Because in Josh Allen's case, why the hell, if you were the Bills, wouldn't want Josh Allen on this deal? And I understand it takes a certain amount of trust. Because you got to tell Mahomes, hey, you got to give us complete free reign to mess with your contract whenever we feel like it, to create as much cap space as we feel like it. We got to just shoot you a text, say we're sending a $40 million check your way, and you just say, yeah, okay. Because he knows in the end, the Chiefs are always going to pay him. And because of the way he's won and the Super Bowls and everything else, you never feel like it's a risk. The only other quarterback in the NFL I think I would genuinely consider this kind of structure with is Josh Allen. And this is what puts them in a unique position. They get to do this, Gold, because of who they are and the quarterback that they have. And there's no other team with that kind of security. Because how many have even won a Super Bowl, right? And then you would want to be sure that they would continue to be a high-level player for a decade. Not like give it to someone like C.J. Stroud after his rookie year, Jaden Daniels after their rookie year, and then hope, and then maybe it's not quite, maybe it's not as good. You can't do it unless you have a guy like him. You have a guy like Allen or like Burrow, but like even Burrow is already talking like he might not even like football. So like who knows, right? And so you get in these situations where they are saved by this contract. It also, like every year, the cap is flexible. It's not that it's not real, but it is flexible, incredibly flexible.
You can structure contracts and you can maneuver the cap to where, with the way the cap is going up with the new revenue streams, there's no reason if you really want to get something done, you can. Now, that doesn't mean they can sign Alec Pierce and Breece Hall and Trey Hendricks. Of course not. There are limitations to that when you say the cap's not real. There are consequences, though. Yeah. Because, again, if you do the same thing for Chris Jones, there are consequences in a couple years, and that's my whole thing. I want them to be in a free spot cap-wise to where they don't have to do a massive restructure in 27 and 28. So you bite the bullet a little bit this year.
I think that Patrick Mahomes does deserve some credit for, we always talk about this, and I'll call it it's not a made-up thing, right? But it is kind of like it's a unicorn, as in it happens very rarely. We ask all the time, why don't you just take less? Why don't you just do everything to win? When you already got all this money, why don't you do this? And look, Patrick Mahomes still makes a lot of money, Gold. That's not even it. He
didn't lose any money on this at all.
His average annual per quarterback is down to like 15. But every year they keep restructuring this, he's paid like one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. But his willingness to do it this way is what has kept them competitive. He intentionally structured a contract for competitive purposes, and that does not happen very often. That's not how Chris Jones's deal is. That's not how Trey Smith's deal is. They talk about Travis Kelce. Just take league minimum, Travis. Just come back. What we're talking about are cases that do not exist inside of sports very often. When you intentionally structure a contract around wanting to be competitive more than wanting to be compensated in a way that's the highest. Like baseball, for instance. A lot of those guys, and this is where I give Shohei credit. He's another guy who's done it. Shohei deferred all of his money. He took all his cash because he wants the Dodgers to remain at the top of their game during this entire run. Most players in baseball structure it a way where it's like, well, I'd like 17 opt-outs because 3 years from now, my value might be $30 million more than this. And I don't care about you 3 years from now. I'm trying to get the maximum. And there's nothing wrong with taking the maximum payday for what it's worth. You can do that too. That's why I applaud the players who are willing to structure their deals in a way that is for the team's benefit. And this deal always has been.
Yeah, but as you said, though, it works on both ends, right? I mean, one, the player has to be willing to do it, as you were describing there. The other part, though, the team has to have faith that we're not going to get screwed. The Chiefs are fine. The Chiefs are fine because 7 years from now, even, they still are fine with what that might be. It's worth it. Is there one other player that you're really willing to do that if you're the team? It's not just the player. You're right about the opt-outs. The Josh Allen, despite the lack of playoff success, might be one of the only other players in the entire NFL that I would ever consider.
He's the only other one I'd pay.
Wanting to structure that way if I'm the team. Now, Josh Allen as a player may not want to do it that way, and that's fine. That's his own prerogative to do that. Someone's saying, what's the con for a player to do this? You mean the restructure or the contract? The contract is what Cody said, which is Mahomes could have made more money theoretically if he would not have structured it this way.
They could also take advantage of him at some point because they can move his money around. They could shove it into a time that maybe he doesn't get paid.
Someone said, what's the con, though, of like this restructure? There really isn't for the player.
No, the only con for the Chiefs is you're pushing it down the road. For the player, it's here's all your money.
He gets money very quickly.
But he has to risk all of the money he could potentially earn by structuring his contract this way because they don't ever need to rip it up if all they can do is just kick the can down the road. Yeah. He was a $75 million cap hit this year. He's now a $35 million cap hit this year, somewhere around those numbers. And next year, sure, he's an $85 million cap hit. Guess what's going to happen? He's either going to tear up his contract and they're going to start from scratch and get that number way the hell down, or Gold, they're just going to do the same thing. They're going to enter another guaranteed mechanism. They have moved his contract in order to save themselves cap space 4 consecutive years. No other contract like that exists in the NFL.
Yeah, I do wonder, though, just based off of quarterback contracts and the cap hit and average annual salary, different than the cap hit, average annual salary, he's probably due for a new contract after this season. You mentioned the dollar amount that's attached. Over the cap already has updated this. So right this second, the Chiefs are $11.3 million over the cap. And as we've discussed over and over, they could free up 20 to put them 10 in the positive. Dana, 8.9. Noah Gray, if they want to move on from him. I'm not saying they will, but 5.4. Drew Tranquil, maybe they move. That's 6. And then the restructure. I told you, Trey Smith, actually, I was wrong. I thought it was only $8 million. They restructured Trey Smith. They could save 12.5 if they want. That's a full restructure, though.
And that means you're planning on, now, I think.
Creed Humphrey is one as well, if they wanted to. 2 guys that you're not worried about long-term. And Chris Jones, 22.5. I don't think they should do that, but they could actually, if you combine Mahomes, Taylor, and Jones, all of a sudden they could free up $80 million in 24 hours.
Yes. And again, and then all of a sudden, well, we got $60 million to spend. Now, we understand they are going to have more cap hits for their draft picks this year than they've had in a really long time. The 9th overall pick, it's like $8 million this year. So, normally you might need 10 to 12 million for all of your draft selections. This year you might need 15 to 18 or some number quite a bit larger than that. And so it goes in there. And yeah, I appreciate that Clark's willing to write the check every year. I do think that we remember the perfect circumstance we mentioned. Some teams who might have to structure a contract like this might have just bought the team and have debt payments or stadium, have team payments for the team that they bought for billions of dollars, right? Or divestments to make. The Chiefs bought this team for $25,000. His dad, decades ago.
We know. It's a family business.
So that part of it also gives you the financial flexibility to maybe have more cash freedom.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can help yourself.
Now, they don't have, and by no means am I saying they don't have the money. They obviously do. But the difference, I will say, in Denver, one, it's
they've got just more. Yeah.
Not only is their net worth more, but also they have, a lot of these teams now have multiple people part of the ownership group. Yep. The Chiefs really don't.
They've let in some minority owners, but it's a smaller group for sure. Than versus Denver, where you have to always have a sole owner, or what's getting ready to happen in Seattle.
Yeah, she's going to sell the team.
Well, she had to. That was the whole part of the trust. It's not even
it's happening in the next couple of weeks.
It's crazy. Team just won the Super Bowl. Now you're going to get brand new ownership. What if the ownership sucks? It's you can get bad ownership immediately, and then all this stuff you've built up and the organizational philosophy you've gone with gone. Nice seeing you. And we'll see whether or not it works. But yes, it is interesting to see, and good for Mahomes for moving that money around.
We'll talk more about this throughout the show today and keep an eye on if there's any other certain restructures or anything like that happening. But let's pivot to the Royals. Spring training going on again. Friday, first spring training game of the year right here on 96.5 The Fan. It'll be right after our show. So 2:05, I think, officially is the first pitch.
And then Vern catching up with us at 12:30 today to talk some Royals baseball. And I'll ask him about this player. We had mentioned Jack Caglione and the over-under number of games he was going to play in right this year. Just trying to take our own stabs at where we think he'll be. I was thinking about the starting rotation, and I guess specifically this player, because I feel like he'd be the one that they would more likely be cautious with first. Do they need to have a short leash for Noah Cameron? They have, by my count, at least 3 people who could start in a 5th starter role that are qualified for the job, have pitched well recently, and are, under normal team circumstances, would be in the mix there. And in a team, and I think specifically because this is a year where they need to compete for the division and go to the playoffs again. A lot of pressure to do that, should do that, too much talent not to do that. In the avoidance of a slow April, if Noah Cameron regresses hard and fast, do they need to keep him on a quick trigger in the sense that we have other people we can go to early if this is going south quick? Because of all the players in the rotation, he's the only one that would maybe possibly fall into this category.
Look, I think the regression is going to happen. It just depends to what extent. I mean, your scenario is if he just
he has 4 bad April starts. Do we need to get into May and start?
I think they'll be patient with him.
What's the
but
line?
You're saying, and I agree with you. There's a difference on him versus Cole Reagans or versus a more established pitcher. But look, I think he's going to regress. But I'm not worried about him just blowing up either. I don't think Noah Cameron is just going to suddenly not have it at all. But he's, last year had a 2.99 ERA. Okay, that's probably not happening this year if we're being honest with ourselves. But so I think they'll treat him the way they would treat most of the pitchers on the staff. In April, they're going to be extremely patient, and it would have to be pretty disastrous. It would honestly probably have to be the first 2 months of the season before I think they would actually be looking at truly moving anybody around. This applies to just about everybody other than Seth Lugo, Michael Walker, and Cole Reagans. Everybody else, I would say, is kind of in the same boat.
I guess I think they need to determine preseason the moves they're willing to make to eject faster. I think it's actually been categorically one of the fault points for the Royals as an organization during this revamped J.J. Picollo, Matt Contreras era. They ride out bad players for too long. I got to watch MJ Melendez and Hunter Dozier for too many games.
You don't have replacements, though, right? That's the difference. What we're talking about here is on the pitching end, you might have some depth.
That's what I'm saying.
So I think when they've been too patient, it's been position player-wise, and they haven't had other options. I mean, last year, the outfield, I know, like, at the time, everybody was like, call up John Rave. Well, with all respect to him, it wouldn't
have been worse, but yeah, he wasn't like an everyday starter.
Whatever. Nick Lofton, like same thing. Like it is what it is. They didn't have. This was why it was an issue with how they approached the offseason. They went into last year with two outfielders that should not have been opening day starters. So I get what you're saying. I think for Noah Cameron, the difference is yes, they would probably have other options. I just don't put him. Is he most likely to regress? Sure, but I don't think he should be treated any different than anybody other than a Waka, a Lugo, and
I think
a Reagan.
Because of how young he is. It's so much easier to just be like, well, Waka, Lugo, Reagan, those guys will like sort their stuff.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Agreed.
They'll sort their stuff out, which is why I mention him specifically. And look, I feel the same way about some of the back end bullpen pieces because of where their depth exists there. And for guys like, I mean, we can talk about them tomorrow, India and Massey, where it's like, whoever gets hot first, congratulations. You're in the lineup most days. Like I don't care what I paid India. This isn't writing out the I owe him $8 million. I'm going to give him 8 weeks to sort it out kind of situation. Cameron is just really interesting to me is because he has such a long time under your control and so much time to develop as a player still. I'm not saying like bench him to get him out, but it's like you can be cautious with him and not force your hand and then start slow again, get behind the 8 ball again, try to play catch up forever. I feel like they've got to find a way to be a little more bullish in some of their decision making relatively early. And you're right. It is harder if Jack Caglione starts slow, there aren't a lot of like easy built-in solutions versus a guy like Cameron. I can toss to a couple of different people if I need to in order to kind of cover that gapping.
Yeah, most likely, assuming Chris Bubich is back and good to go, Noah Cameron's your 5th starter. So that's the other thing in terms of, we talk about what you're expecting. Sure, you'd love the 2.99 ERA again, but if your 5th starter is, Cody, it bumps up to a 3.5, a 3.8. Okay, it'd be amazing. Like, a 3.5, 3.8 from my number 5 starter.
I'm not talking about a 3.5 regression.
You're talking about all of a sudden
it's
5 and 8, 6 something crazy.
Yeah, like things go south quick. Where are your eject points?
Yeah.
Because I can't have them get 10 games behind the division lead 6 weeks into the season again.
The good news is, and we'll talk to this with Vern, but reports out of spring training are that Noah Cameron, his best pitch looks just as good as it did last year. So, this idea of he never got it back. No, he looks just as dominant. I understand they haven't played anybody, but I'm just talking about the actual pitch repertoire, if you will, looks, that's what we saw last year. That hasn't changed. So we'll talk to Vern about that. Last night, there was local college basketball going on in Manhattan, and this is like the typical interim coach bump. We see this happen in sports all the time. It happened for the Chiefs with Romeo Crennel. It's happened in baseball before for the first week of an interim manager. The coach gets fired, and then suddenly the team just plays way better, and it's usually short-lived. Last night's that example for Kansas State. So we all know Jerome Tang was fired. Matthew Driscoll's the interim head coach, and he was hired by Jerome Tang to be on his staff. So presumably they're friends. So it put him in a weird spot, but it is kind of what it is. Kansas State last night played their best basketball game in, dare I say, almost the season, it felt like.
I don't remember every single game they played, but I think it might be the season.
90-74 win against Baylor. And this is not the same Baylor team. They're not a tournament team the way they had.
Spot ahead of.
Yeah, look, it's not a good Baylor team. I get it. But normally K-State's losing by 20 at home. They won 90-74 last night. And it was I'm sure, a nice performance if you're a member of that team. This was what Matthew Driscoll had to say. He was asked, hey, did you get excited to have this opportunity?
So no. Not
Zero.
at all. I don't want it to be the head coach. I didn't come here to be the head coach. But I understand too that my responsibility, right? I have a contract and my responsibility. And so sitting in that seat or making those decisions or all those kind of things, I can do that. But there's no joy in that at all for me. Because of why I'm doing it. Like there's just no joy for me for that. And I'm sorry, but I shouldn't have said I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
So that was Matthew Driscoll talking about the unique situation he's in. Look,
better answer than Tank's given all season.
I agree, actually.
It's crazy.
I would agree with that. Look, that was their first win in almost like a month. So I just think it's the weird interim bump we see that happens. It's who knows moving. I don't know who they play coming up.
PJ Haggerty was awesome in that game last night in front of nobody.
34 points.
Might have been 17 students in the stands.
Yeah.
I thought Driscoll handled that about as well. And look, I'm not saying give him the job. That usually the interim bump is a bump for a reason. Giving the interim person the job almost never works. So don't fall into that trap.
I don't think anybody's suggesting that. It's more of like joking on social media. Oh, the Matthew Driscoll effect. Here we go. I think people are sarcastic with it.
I'm warning now, right? But like, if you genuinely look at it, he said, essentially like, that's my friend.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not excited about this. Yes, I can handle the responsibility, but like what led us here is not going to bring me some joy. Right. And I think it's an incredible way to answer that question, and good for K-State. K-State fans get a win. This isn't like college basketball is not like the draft. The more you lose, the better picks you don't get. So win as many games as you can till the bitter ends, Feel better about like maybe it was the players aren't the problem. It was the coach, as in if you can keep getting players the way that you have been getting, then maybe you can continue to operate that way.
Next up for them Saturday at Texas Tech. A little step up in competition from what they just took on with Baylor. They got Texas Tech, Colorado, TCU, West Virginia. Then they wrap up in Lawrence against the Kansas Jayhawks. KU is in action tonight, by the way, in Stillwater, taking on Oklahoma State. I believe an 8:00 tip-off. And yes, we'll see how much Darren Peterson plays at this point. Like Dusty asked me when I came in, he's like, "How much do you think he plays?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't freaking know." I was like, I don't know. I'm done with it. I don't know.
I think he only played 23 in the last game because it didn't matter.
They were getting their ass kicked. Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't know. I'll guess. Give me 28 minutes tonight. 28 to 30 minutes tonight, maybe more. So that'll be my guess. They're I think 5 or 6 point favorites against.
Yeah, something like that.
And then Vandy and Mizzou tonight as well.
Ooh.
That's a big top 20.
Big one for Missouri.
20 win opportunity.
I mean, I guess I'd be a little bit more concerned about Kansas if after they got their ass picked by Iowa State, they just sleptwalked against Oklahoma State, sorry. But, outside of that.
If Missouri loses tonight, they're in serious trouble of being out after losing to Texas.
Now they could just win their next game and win a different top 20 opponent because Texas is a projected tournament team. But, I get your point, Drew. They are.
In terms of
I say they got to win one of the next two.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's this one or that one.
They have 3, including tonight, top 25 games left. Not including the SEC tournament. So
you got to win one of them to have a shot at it. If they lose all 3, I don't know if they can make it.
Not unless they're going to get to the finals of the SEC tournament.
I don't think they can go 0-3 against the Arkansas twice and Vandy. And they certainly can't afford then to slip up against the lighter part of the schedule. So, they're going to be on the bubble. I was disappointing as we discussed yesterday. You beat A&M and then you lose to Texas. And then A&M's not helping you because they've lost 4 in a row. So that quad 1 win, there's I don't know where their net ranking is and everything. I think A&M is still a quad 1 win, but that stuff can change.
It's fringe based on their last couple of games. So they're going to have to pay close attention to it. So definitely be interesting tonight.
All right, up next, let's get back into Major League Baseball and the Players Association. Yesterday, we told you that the head of the PA had stepped down for one reason. Well, we learned the other reason. It got a lot uglier, plus what John Sherman said at spring training about the future stadium site.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in for the Fan Club every Friday at 1, right here on 96.5 The Fan.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. Get into hockey, basketball, your favorite winter sports with same-game parlays. Live betting, earn BetMGM reward points on every bet. Take advantage of football offers found nowhere else, like a second chance on a first touchdown bet, and keep an eye out for rewards dropping in your account throughout the season. Sign up again with bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. BetMGM, make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire in 1 to 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
That sound? Yeah, that's not a good sign. Hey, it's Drew Brees. And when your car starts making noises like that, a big repair bill might be coming right at you. But with CarShield, you don't have to fear unexpected breakdowns. CarShield helps protect you from expensive auto repairs. I spent my career making tough calls, but this one is simple.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
At quarterback, calling the right play could change the whole game. And when your car breaks down, same idea. Make the right call before the big repair bill hits. CarShield helps protect you from expensive auto repairs. Plans include 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, and rental car options, all to keep your drive alive. Look, breakdowns happen, but choosing CarShield, that's the easiest call you'll make all day.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
This update is brought to you by Ollie's Bargain Outlet.
The smartest people on earth know how to spot a good deal. That's why they shop at Ollie's first. You'll save up to 70% off the fancy store's prices. So you go, you smart and savvy shopper. You know where the real deals are, where they sell good stuff cheap.
Ollie's! Good stuff cheap!
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold, coming up in about 8 minutes, we'll get into what John Sherman had to say out in Arizona.
He said they're going to Washington Square Park. Deal done?
He did not. He did not. Spoiler, that is not the answer we got. But we'll tell you what he said. You'll hear what he said. And we'll check in. As you guys know, one of my favorite college basketball coaches. Always nice, always respectful, never a jerk. We'll get to the head coach at UCLA, Mick Cronin, here in about 15.
Good guy. Mick Cronin, right?
Super nice guy, never a jerk. All of that, whether he was at Cincinnati or UCLA.
He is good for college basketball, believe it or not.
Well, so we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But yes, we'll talk Mick Cronin.
If Drew has something negative to say about you, then I know you're a jerk. Even Drew thinks Mick Cronin sucks.
Yeah, well.
And he doesn't say anything mean about anybody.
Mm-hmm. So we'll get there in just a bit. You guys can interact with us on the J Southland Toast Service text line, 913-586-7965. All right, yesterday we mentioned the news that Tony Clark, the executive director of the MLBPA, was stepping down in large part because there's a investigation about perhaps maybe fudging some numbers a little bit or whatever. Yeah, that's what's alleged. We all know the CBA expires in December. Everybody kind of expects it to be very nasty and for there to potentially be a lockout, unfortunately, in 2027, and that owners are prepared to actually have a real long, sustained lockout to protect the possibility of a salary cap floor or a salary cap from happening or wanting it to happen, depending on which side you're on. And then it got It got uglier yesterday. After we got off the air, more details, more drama around Tony Clark.
More allegations.
Yeah, so he resigned. That's still true. But now it sounds like there was an inappropriate relationship on top of...
Which is always bad. Like an inappropriate relationship in the workplace. That's bad enough.
Yep, but
on
then,
its own right.
But what if I told you, according to ESPN, there's an internal investigation that revealed the inappropriate relationship was with his sister-in-law, who was hired by the MLBPA in 2023. So during the union's internal inquiry, which came into the wake, because of all the stuff going on, the relationship between Clark and the woman came to light. Sources said prompted him to step down after more than a dozen years. So that's what prompted the step down, not even just the federal investigation.
So allegedly, this man got the job, started messing with the money, hired his sister-in-law, which is another act of not being a great union rep, then started sleeping with her, or was sleeping with her before at some point. Yeah. Dude, first off, that's his brother's wife. That's one of the most messed up things you could do on the planet. I'm sorry. That is one of the most messed up things you could do to your family member imaginable. Your brother's wife? And look, this doesn't even go as far as MLB had a problem anyway in this negotiation. Yeah. I think owners are going to fight hard for a salary cap. I think they're tired of the Dodgers. But unless the players are going to get guaranteed rev share, which is a little bit lower than some of the other leagues, or it's a little higher, guaranteed rev share, or they're going to get a salary floor or some other major concession. Nightmare situation going into negotiation anyway. And now the person who has been, up to this point for years, leading these conversations, and I get it, they're not good at getting in the building and actually having good conversations until a thing gets shut down. But for real? This is your solution? Insane. Insane to me that this is the guy who is in charge of all of this. No wonder it's a mess.
Someone says, has it been confirmed she's his brother's wife and not his wife's sister? I guess no. We don't know which sister-in-law. I mean, yes, that is true. We do not know it's his. That is fair, I guess.
One report was that it was his brother's.
Okay. Is there
was a report that said that that's,
either way,
that's the person it would be in the alleged situation.
Yeah, someone says it could be his wife's sister. That's fair.
I'm just telling you that there's reporting that it was
either
his
way.
brother's wife.
Frankly, I don't know. To me, it doesn't really change. It doesn't really change much. It's terrible either way, and it cost himself his job as it should. And we'll see where the rest of this stuff goes. Again, that's a family thing. That's a disaster. And then there's the fact that he's being investigated, and if some of those allegations are true on the financial end, he could be going to prison. So there's that aspect. His life's a freaking mess right now, is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not quite as bad as
and it's all
it went for
self-inflicted.
Sharon Moore, but it does feel like catastrophic in that way, as in you unraveled your whole life via your own doing, but it has versus this, Michigan, I understand has ramifications, but they'll just hire a different coach, right? And then everything else is the same and nothing really changes, and you just hope that the next coach you get is good. In this case, changing lead the Major League Baseball Players Association can be it's no big deal. Bruce will just handle it now. It doesn't change where we are. And they've said all those things. Changing your lead negotiator when we think that they are 10 months away from a massive baseball lockout that would be the closest to losing baseball games since the strike in the 90s. Losing the guy who's been in charge of the MLBPA for the last decade plus feels significant. I know that there are other people in those rooms, other people having those conversations, but this feels like a big crux point because I do think the owners are going to want something they haven't asked for in a long time.
Yeah, the details on how this Tony Clark situation came, though, and then, leading into what you're saying, Cody, is that there's this, you may have seen it, Players Way, which is what was apparently a project of Tony Clark's. Initially, their goal was to hold these events and showcases for youth baseball. Right, sounds good. And they spent $3.9 million for that showcase and for those events, despite limited attendance. And ESPN is reporting that that's where federal investigators have asked questions about the for-profit company, which was, basically operating in this fashion. And in a statement, ESPN Clark said the union started Players Way as an oasis for young athletes and families who too often get exploited in today's billion-dollar youth sports machinery. But that's what they're investigating. They think maybe something was going on with the Players Way aspect of what one of his initiatives were. But I think, look, the Players Union, you have a lead negotiator. There's obviously way more people involved in the negotiations than just Tony Clark. It's just that, man, there was a time to have your you-know-what together is this upcoming December. And now you're going to at least, at the very least, going into that, if you're the other side, you're like, they're a mess. You got a federal investigation going on and all this. I don't know, man. Like, I don't think ultimately this is going to lead to more games being missed or not. Like, I think the issues are the issues here.
Yeah,
it's just terrible optically for that you're worried about this stuff and not as prepared maybe going into it.
I will say, if you're one of these people just handing out these, like, because according to that Players Way stuff, he was handing out 6-figure annual salaries to a bunch of consultants and executives. I'm happy to take one of these consultant gigs that just pays 6 figures for what appears to be very little work, Gold. That goes back to the whole investigation part of it and Tony Clark. I understand, like, the idea that maybe it doesn't truly move the needle in a way that it's going to stop them from getting a deal. I do think it slows the process down a little bit. They already need to be having these meetings, having these conversations. I mean, hell, the players were getting ready to have their massive spring meeting with all the player reps who represent all 30 teams, and they had to cancel it after they found out that Tony Clark got canned just so that they could kind of reconfigure where they are and probably, elect a interim one and figure out who best leads them and which kind of negotiator do they want going into these conversations with the owners. It's a mess.
Do you think we're going to talk stadium here with John Sherman, what he had to say in spring training? Do you think, knowing what we all think unfortunately is going to happen in 2027, which is missed regular season baseball games, do you think that changes and pushes the timeline up even more for the Royals, like needing, and why there's urgency maybe for John Sherman to get a stadium deal done? Because good luck convincing anybody when every fan's pissed off next April and May, potentially, if it goes that far, if not further, of missed baseball, and then you're trying to sell people on a new stadium when everybody's upset that the billionaires and millionaires are arguing over a collective bargaining agreement and there's no baseball for fans to go to, people are going to say, why are we trying to get a stadium done? You guys, we don't even know if there's games. Now, I understand it. I understand the stadium is a long-term thing. It's not just about 2027. Sure. That's the answer back. And
it can be built. It wouldn't be ready until 2030.
For sure. But I think, again, the optics, and there would be people that would say, you guys can't even figure out how to play baseball games. Why am I worried about your stadium? I think they need to get the stadium stuff figured out before the CBA wraps up. Here's what John Sherman had to say, though, out in Surprise, Arizona the other day when he was asked about the stadium front.
We're still evaluating Kansas, and we're still evaluating multiple locations in this area. But I do appreciate the effort that's being put towards it, not only by the mayor but by the government.
All options are still open, basically, is what he's saying. And there was more audio as well where he said, by the end of well before the end of the regular season. But that's, I swear that was exactly what we heard this time last year.
I got to say, that is a concerning timeline.
I believe we had John Sherman on opening day, Cody, outside Gate D. We'd have to go pull back the interview. And I believe at that point, they hope to have an answer before the end of that season.
Yes, that's exactly what he said. And I think they got close and some things maybe shifted a little bit, whatever. But all of this to be said, the end of the regular season? I hope so. Like, what? You've got to be, I think we've all given enough grace on I understand this is a complicated process that takes a lot of conversations, a lot of planning, a lot of people. I do truly get it. But you had done a lot of that process and that planning and the people talking to when you got it on a ballot 2 years ago. How is it that nowhere in the last 2 years have you initiated a new plan? It just seems crazy to me.
He also, here's other quotes from Sherman. He said, quote, "I've got a great sense of urgency on this. Time is not our friend. When the Chiefs made their announcement to move to Kansas in December, there was a whole new wave of enthusiasm on the Missouri side. And don't mean that they weren't working hard before, but from the governor on down, there's a lot of effort being put forth." Went on from there. When I'm talking about urgency, that's to me a business tenet that I think you should always employ in any organization. When you have a window of opportunity, you better run through it because those windows close. I feel the same way about the stadium.
What was the over-under I said? Like June 1st? I don't remember now. You guys still feeling the unders coming on that one?
I thought we were taking it. I thought, weren't we? Did we take the over or the under?
You took the under.
Yeah.
I said earlier we would know.
Yeah,
I thought
I'm still on the under for June 1st, but
not before the
I'm
season.
not buying the opening day, March 28th or whatever announcement. I'll still say under June 1st. Yeah, but I don't feel confident.
June 1st is still 3.5 months. I'm still optimistic.
The man said the end of the season.
He said
that's October.
No. He said last year he said by the end of the year. This time he said we hope well before the end of the season. I'm just trying to be fair. I'm not.
That's fine.
I agree with you that I think it's ridiculous.
What do you think the cutoff date for well before the end of the season? Pre-trade
June
deadline?
or July?
The All-Star game.
June, July? Yeah.
If we're talking about
yeah.
well before, I think it's the All-Star game.
Yeah, like June, July. That's well before the end of the year.
I'll give you that. But
Or how about
first? I'm pretty much out on well before.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if we
how,
hit August,
how about
then
May?
yeah.
May is well before as well.
If we hit August,
tomorrow's
then yes.
well before.
I agree.
Let's get cracking.
Oh, boy. Everybody's so sick of it. By the way, our spring training coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Park and Go, the best deal on airport parking. Check our social media channels. Vern's, of course, out there and doing a great job posting some video content. Yesterday, I think the one that was really cool was just seeing George Brett and Salvi interacting. I know we've seen it before, but just
That's two statue guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know Salvi doesn't have his yet.
He will.
But he will.
Yeah.
He'll have his statue.
And hopefully there's a Gatorade bucket in his hand or whatever.
I still think there's a better than not chance that Frank White's gets lost on the way to the new stadium.
It'd be convenient. Yeah, it actually fell off the back of the truck. Something like that. Yeah.
Would that be the first time? I mean, maybe not the first time, because like they took down the Joe Paterno one, but for very different reasons.
That's don't even don't lump those two together. Look, I'm not a Frank White fan, but we don't need to lump the two together here. Come on.
I just meant, has there been a time in which it wasn't like for that kind of reason that somebody? Just let me finish. For that kind of reason that somebody took a statue down. How many times do people take statues down? It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
To say we're not going to do it anymore.
Not too often.
Yeah,
it cannot be that often unless they do something heinous.
Yeah, it's that. You know? That, and then in a much more broader context, it's regime changes. It's
Finally, take down the wall, Terry. I meant from a sports perspective.
Well, you're the one that was going with the non-sports comparison, essentially with Joe.
But Paterno was a sports figure, at least.
I understand.
I wasn't talking about they're tearing down Stalin's statue. Like slightly different energy. I understand when stuff like that happens.
So yeah, I'll stick with pre-June one, I guess. I don't know.
But you don't say that with any kind of confidence.
No. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll talk about a player that's going to be drafted, it feels like, in the top 10 that maybe not discussed enough already, considering one of the comps that are out there from somebody that joined Fesco and Dusty yesterday. So we'll talk draft and we'll talk about a defensive player in 15 minutes. I mentioned earlier that Mick Cronin, my favorite basketball coach. I, of course, say that tongue in cheek.
You didn't like him before this moment.
I didn't like him at Cincinnati. I think he's got little man syndrome big time, number one. But he's a jerk, to put it nicely. And I feel like, yet again, I have more evidence of that. Like, you're like, how can you say that? You've never had him on your show. I could go through plenty of clips that we've played on this show. Last night, Exhibit F, we'll call it at this point in time.
That feels too low.
Yeah, for Mick Cronin. UCLA, look, they're struggling. I think they lost by another 30-point loss or whatever it was. For context, earlier in the game, one of his players had a rough foul that was dirty, got teed up, and the player didn't get ejected by the refs. Mick Cronin tossed his own player and sent him off, just overreacting and just like whatever. Like he's
another thing you don't see very often, tossing your own player.
So he ejects his own player. I think we have the audio of even the play-by-play of that.
Long cross-court pass. We'll get a free run for Cooper. He gets fouled hard from behind by Jamerson, and Cooper gets right in Jamerson's face because of the hard foul. Jamerson stood his ground. Mick Cronin says, "I want you out."
Yeah, Mick is sending
wow.
What into the locker room.
So that was the play-by-play. Then after the game, Mick Cronin just listened to the media setting, and a question that was asked about the fans there. They were on the road last night.
I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section.
I just meant the overall the way that you
I would like to give you a kudos for the worst question I've ever been asked.
Did you like
you should take it.
The preparation of the
Do you really think I care about the other
No, I don't think you care about the other
Are you raising your voice at me?
No, I'm just
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Come on, dude.
No reason.
Come on. Yes, you are. Everybody's standing here listening to you. Everybody. This is on camera. They can hear you. I answered the question. I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section. I coach UCLA. I don't care about Michigan State students. I mean, who cares?
Look, if you want to say, I don't care about the student section, move on, but then be a smart ass, be like, kudos to you for asking one of the worst questions.
Yeah,
and then the reporter's like, I'll take the kudos. I bet she will. And then the reporter started saying, he's like, I mean, are you raising your voice at me? I mean, come on. What a joke.
Are you raising your voice at me?
He's an ass, man. He's an ass.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
All-time loser energy.
Yeah.
First, I'll just say, perfectly normal question. Something happened in the game with the student section about your team. I don't think it's that crazy to ask about it. It took place on the court during your game. Are you allowed to say you don't care? Sure. Then they were trying to get to the next question. And then he's like, oh, you just think you're a big guy. And then hit them with the, and by the way, to be clear, I don't think the reporter's actually raising his voice.
I don't think he was either.
It is a very difficult thing to do. As someone who's been in these press conferences and had like coaches or players like get angry at you, right? Because one time I just want the reporter to be like, yeah, I am. Wait, you think you can just be a jerk to me and I'm just supposed to take it? Like there's no recourse for other purpose? He said, this is on camera, buddy. Everyone can hear you. Like somehow he's not the jerk in that situation. That's an all-time. Are you raising your voice is the most pathetic, sad little man stuff I've heard out of a coach. And so, like, are you raising your voice at me?
Are you raising your voice at me?
I think
it's absolutely
it's
little
so
man
sniveling.
syndrome. And just the arrogance and the ego on this guy.
Everybody, this is on camera. They can hear you.
I mean, just didn't try to embarrass the guy at the same time.
It was just disrespectful.
Yeah, he's done stuff like this so many times, guys. He's a jerk. He also has a $22 million buyout, so he feels like he can say whatever the hell he wants.
Well, if it were Kansas State, they would have found a way to do something by now, but he might not go. But I mean, he's been vocal against like going to the Big Ten. I don't think he hates being in the Big Ten, and he's been very vocal at the lack of spending that UCLA has done for all of its athletics programs. I think he wears his emotions on his sleeve, and I think at times it gets the best of him, and this is one of those moments where you don't have to be disrespectful to the reporter. Just answer the question. I wouldn't have cared for the question either because it doesn't matter, but at the same time, just answer the question and move on to the next one. You don't have to.
Don't answer. It'd be like, I don't care about the student section. I'm not going to really address that.
You don't have to go at the guy,
He's provided us a drop, though. Anytime we get heated on the show or anybody else, I mean, now
Are you raising your voice?
this is now, anytime to break the tension or anything, now that we've got a good drop, it's like the whopper drop we used to have on the show.
I mean, he could not, like, honestly, and the video's even worse. He could not seem more pathetic in his trying to like dress this person down, like, I got you.
Do you think
there's cameras on you here, pal? Ugh. It's like he's just like a monster in that clip. He comes off as such an idiot.
That should be, and someone's run the text and they're like, this just proves coaches go off all the time. Tang was fired for cause. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'd use this in my lawsuit against K-State.
Yeah, is UCLA going to fire Mick Cronin for cause because he embarrassed them last night?
If it was Kansas State, they would have found a way to try to do something by the looks of it, I'm sure. Because
I just meant overall the way that you
I would like to give you a kudos for the worst question I've ever been asked.
I will say the way that he said it is
kudos.
I'm gonna be honest.
Give you a kudos.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not taking away from anything that he was being very, very disrespectful. But the way that he said he wanted to give him a kudos for the worst question.
It's smart ass.
It's
passive aggressive.
It's smartest, but I also think it's partially hilarious because he's good for college basketball in the sense that he is not that great of an individual from the way that he carries himself. But I think the fact that we're talking about it, it's college basketball, and he is a fun character. Individual in college basketball.
I don't think so.
If you mean that sports need villains, he is a villain.
Exactly.
I don't think he's good for college basketball.
He is good for college basketball. You need coaches like this and people in the ecosystem, and he is a coach that doesn't give a rip what you say. He will say his opinion, and sometimes it is very disrespectful, which is not good.
I just want to be able to be disrespectful back.
But he is, and that's fine. The reporter trying to back his question, I think is fine.
Yeah, so I agree we need villains. So like Dan Hurley to me, I think he's good for college basketball. He's good for college basketball. Dan Hurley can be a jerk, but he's usually not like he's not trying to embarrass people at all the time. Like Dan Hurley's an a-hole.
Hey, he's embarrassed people. He's embarrassed reporters a lot in his time. He embarrassed Butler actually in my alma mater.
What happened? What do you say?
He said the program stinks and they don't spend money.
I'm talking about an individual person right there to the person's face trying to embarrass them in front of somebody.
I think Dan Hurley's done that multiple times.
You really think I care about the other?
No, I don't think you care about the other.
Are you raising your voice at me?
I
He
think
went
Dan
high
Hurley,
to the opposite reason. Oh, no, I don't care. He
I
obviously
think Dan
had a
Hurley
moment.
is that type of individual as well. Like Dan Hurley and Mick Cronin, I believe, are in the same conglomerate. Of course, it's just that Dan Hurley has one more than Mick Cronin has.
When he says, I want to give you a kudos for the worst question I've asked, am I allowed to say back to him, well, I want to give you a kudos for being the worst coach in UCLA men's basketball history? Like,
He isn't that bad, but
are you sure? Who's worse?
He made a
Are you
Final
raising
Four.
your voice at me?
So did Ben Howland.
He is not
So
the
did
worst.
Steve Alford.
He is not.
He's not going to beat any of the people from anybody in the 60s, 70s, 80s.
He is not a worst. He's not the worst coach in UCLA.
Are you sure?
Are you raising your voice at me?
Yes.
It's just the same as saying
I will
worst
say
question.
that.
It's a
I will say that without
generalization.
even looking up the team's history. He is not the worst coach in UCLA men's basketball history.
I don't think you realize how deep UCLA men's history is. I think
He is
pretty far
not the
back.
worst coach.
He's been to a Final Four, Cody.
That's what I'm saying.
So is every coach in their history?
No. I don't think Steve Alford.
Pre-1940, I don't know.
No.
He's not their worst.
He's
I
not
don't
the
like the
worst.
guy, but he's not their worst.
Steve Alford
I don't
also
like
went
the
to a
guy at
final.
all. I understand.
Did he go to a Final Four?
Steve
Let's
Alford
see.
went to a Final Four as a player. I don't think he made it as a head coach.
He made it a semifinal.
Steve Alford's a good coach, though.
He didn't last very long. He only made it 5
Steve
years.
Lavin's the answer, possibly. And he had success, but
Steve Lavin went to a bunch of tournaments.
yeah. When you get to a national,
probably
when
not
you
the
get to
worst
a
question he's ever
national,
been asked, so I can just say whatever I want back at you.
when you get to a national semifinal,
Look, I'm not siding with the jerks. Like there's a way that Mick Cronin,
Are you sure
Mick
you
Cronin
do
should
sound
have
like you're siding
handled
with them a little?
There's a way that Mick Cronin should have handled it, and it was differently. But who's to say that player didn't say something smart to him and got kicked out? The amount of times that people get kicked out of situations and settings by coaches, I think a lot of people are underestimating, not
But
necessarily
we have
in a
a
game
history
situation.
of this kind of attitude from him.
And
so it's easy to understand.
I
who the bad
understand
guy
that,
is.
but I think that people would have really lost it when Nick Saban spanked A.J. McCarron on the sideline because he was pissed off because he threw a bad pick. People would have lost it and said Nick Saban would have been should have been fired. I think people from the side of you being a jerk, sure, but I think people really don't. They underestimate the amount of times that coaches cuss players out, throw them out of practices, call them out
that's
publicly.
not what this is, though.
I
Today.
think
That's not
that-
what this is, though, right? Like, I have no issue
I-
if someone's hard on a player. I'm talking about this had nothing. Like this was just like truly, he just wanted to be a jerk.
And that's why I said it was disrespectful. I'm not saying he was right for calling out the reporter. It was disrespectful, but I think people they don't understand the amount of times I think that coaches go on these types of rants, and you hear it publicly all the time. Whether it's Jerome Tang, whether it's Dan Hurley, whether it's Nick Saban, whether it's Mick Cronin, like he had every right to throw his player out of the game, and I think he was disrespectful to the reporter afterwards. That's all I'm saying. I'm not siding with Mick Cronin.
You just don't think it's a big deal.
No.
Okay.
He was disrespectful to the reporter when he shouldn't have been, and he should have handled it differently. But I don't think he was wrong for throwing his player out of the game.
Well, that part.
Or wearing his emotions on his sleeve.
About
It's just that you need to control yourself a little bit better. You don't need to be. You can wear your emotions on your sleeve without being disrespectful to people.
Agreed. But I just
That's all I'm
don't
saying.
like poo-pooing it and acting like it's not a big deal. That's all.
I also, I don't know. This goes back to a broader point. We don't have the conversation to get into this. We excuse baby behavior from grown men because it's sports in a way that we should not even bother excusing it. If this were any other workplace, like, well, it's sports. It's our adrenaline's flowing, so we can just be gigantic jerks to people all the time. Nah.
All right, coming up next, we were going to talk about the draft, but I do want to get to some breaking news. TMZ is reporting a lawsuit has been filed against Rashi Rice. We'll give you the details on that next.
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
We always tell you about our friends over at Centric and how in as little as 4 months you can find a brand new career in IT. But it's more than just going through the program and then they say, all right, thanks for coming, and we just go ahead and move on. No. They're with you through the entire process. They work through a clear career pathway for you. So here's what they do. They have a career services team that's going to help coach you through resume building, interview preparation, guidance on landing a real entry-level IT job with local employers.
That's because in today's market, you can't just train alone. It doesn't work that way. Being prepared, all that stuff, Gold, it's what gets you there. We prep for the show. I don't know why you wouldn't Prep for your career and plan on getting that career over at Centric. Because again, their 4-month program is built around a clear career pathway. So if you're serious about that move, talk to our guy Russ. He's going to schedule a short career pathway call with you, get you set up, and get you squared away. That's Centric.com.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
Sex, intimacy, love. These 3 things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
When it's time to replace your appliances, Lowe's has you covered. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. And members get more like free delivery, haul away, basic installation and parts, and a 2-year Lowe's protection plan when you spend $2,500 or more on select major appliances. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 2/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Excludes Massachusetts, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, Florida. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change.
Look out for Max Minute on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5, The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
$11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to the trash of the day in 20 minutes. We will get to what we wanted to play and plan on for this segment around the draft at some point today, but we are pivoting with some breaking news from TMZ, and I'll just read through this with everybody. We'll we just briefly read over it ourselves, quite honestly, because it's only been out for a handful of minutes at this point, but TMZ, the headline reads, Rashi Rice sued by longtime girlfriend. You brutalize me. Rashi Rice, longtime partner, mother of his children, has filed a lawsuit against him, accusing him choking, strangling, scratching, hitting, and headbutting her over a, quote, nightmare 19-month period. It goes on to mention, as part of the lawsuit filed by his ex-girlfriend this week in district court, was obtained by TMZ Sports. She lays out what she says was a horrific pattern of abuse between December of 2023 and July of 2025. So
right
up until this
she did
past
Instagram
July.
post, yeah.
It goes on to mention, Rashi Rice continued to repeatedly assault Dakota Jones over the course of their relationship, the lawsuit claims. Jones, who has 2 children with Rice, says she was also subject to other violent and abusive behaviors, which included the Chiefs wideout throwing things at her, punching walls, and breaking furniture. She claims the abuse caused bleeding, swelling, bruising, and other pain and physical injury to her neck, face, mouth, arms, legs, chest, and shoulder. To make matters worse, she says most of the abuse occurred while she was pregnant. I am reading the TMZ article. That's not me adding commentary to it. It's not the first time Jones has gone public with allegations of abuse. Last month, we all know, on social media, Dakota accused Rice of getting physical with her, and at a time included photos she says proves he was abusive. We know the NFL opened up, Cody, an investigation, personal conduct investigation. That is still active. Nothing happened after the Instagram post. There is still not a police report, but this is now the first legal action. I know it's a civil lawsuit. This is not a criminal situation at this point. But from a civil perspective, it's the first time there's actually something through the court system that is being alleged and evidence is being presented or will be moving forward. And just recently, we all know that Rashi Rice has a new girlfriend, I believe, if you check out his Instagram as well. I have no idea how this is all going to play out. All I know is in the lawsuit, she's seeking more than $1 million, but did not specify an exact amount. We have this conversation back with the Instagram post that happened. Yeah. I honestly don't know how the NFL will proceed because without the police report. Now, is she willing to talk to the NFL now? She's now filed a lawsuit. So now there's at least something on the legal side that maybe moves it forward. And does it put, from the playing in jeopardy?
They usually, as you know, after, I believe it was right after the Ezekiel Elliott one, have decided that they wait till the end of the legal process, which means, do I think his playing time is at risk this year? No, probably not, because they typically wait till the end of the legal process, which means this entire lawsuit to go through. Now, if they were to settle or settle quickly, then maybe. So it's certainly not out of the question, but they're going to wait until the end of that process in order to do it. This goes back to some of the stuff we mentioned when this initially came out and the Instagram post was made. I don't know how you can move forward with this player. With these accusations, with the trouble he's already been in, from the stuff he pled guilty to as it relates to the car wreck in the Dallas area, I don't know how you can move forward with this player in the sense that
Well, I'm not giving an extension.
Term.
There's the extension. Like, to me, at this point, they'd probably just play it out. But this is why I don't care, team friendly or not. There's no contract. Absolutely not. There's no contract extension, and I understand as you look at just the football side of it, and that's not trying to be not sensitive to the reality of what is in the serious allegations, and if true, horrific, if that's what took place. But from the football end, Cody, I know where fans are at today. You and I both know the sad reality of how this works, though. If he goes out there and has the year I think he might actually have, which is 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns or whatever, career-type season in a contract year, there will be plenty of people that will be, well, actually, maybe I am. Like, I'm not saying every single person listening, but we've seen this play out before, that it's way easier now to say don't give him an extension and all that. The minute he goes out and does that, then somebody will convince themselves, well, actually, I don't think you can trust the guy, plain and simple.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm team not interested in him being on the team, right? In the sense that I understand that they are probably, there's a difference between like what I would do and what the team will likely do. In this situation, teams typically just let it play itself out, as in the legal process will take its place, he'll be on the team, and then eventually they probably, as you're saying, won't give him an extension and move on with their days, meaning the same stuff. Do you have to look at wide receiver at 9? Do you need to trade for a wide receiver? Do you need to, sign a free agent wide receiver? And all this other stuff going back to even the conversations we had about other free agents here recently, like Evans and Hill and others. So, that's the most likely, I think, in game for the Chiefs. I don't know why, he's a knucklehead. There's no other way to put it.
That's the nicest way to put it.
And that's the nicest conceivable way. I'm not interested in him being a Chief anymore based on all of the preponderance of both real evidence and alleged things, including this most recent TMZ stuff, to continue down this path. You are right that there will always be, and there'll be teams too, by the way. Let's not, we don't have to limit it to just fans. You and I both know that he has 1,200 yards and the Chiefs are like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. We're moving on to the next. There'll be somebody who will take the risk on him. Players have been put back on teams for even after criminal acts and awful acts hundreds of times, right? It happens. It is very consistent. But you're right. How could you? How could you trust this person to operate in a long-term sense on your team? And look, someone's probably going to get him for a discount because he's got a lot of legal trouble.
Well, that's the
and
other
a
thing.
whole bunch of lawyer bills.
I don't know what his availability is, and like we're not trying to be legal experts. I have no idea.
I don't know.
Someone was asking 913-586-7965. How are you guys talking about, not extending him when he's likely violated his probation and will face serious prison time? I have no idea if that's to be true. Like, that's speculation. I have no idea if when you are accused of something in a civil case, even it's as serious of allegations. Remember, this is not a criminal right now. There's no police report. This is just about a personal lawsuit towards an individual that was filed in a district court. I have no idea how that at all, or maybe it does, impacts what we already know he was dealing with, which was the felonies related to the car crash that he still has to serve, 30 days jail time for, that he still has to pay out $1 million to the victims from that crash. Now he's being sued for another $1 million+. He's
got major financial problems. I would think.
Just financial problems to
but
be
legal problems, yeah.
But legal problems. I do not know if this changes anything with the probation situation that he had. I have no clue, guys. That's a great question, but that's why if you're asking, why are we not? I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh yeah, well, he's going to prison for a long time. I have no idea.
I don't even know if he served the 30 days.
We don't know.
That he had to serve,
and I don't know if we'll ever get an official announcement. I mean,
I will say at the bottom of that TMZ article said he served in 2025, but I don't know if they were just not vetting that.
Where's that?
At the bottom of that same article,
yeah, I'm looking at it. I only
the,
see the part where it says he's seeking more than $1 million.
I'm
on the article right now.
Find it again. Hold on.
Oh, he served jail time in 2025. I don't know I don't think that's accurate.
If he did it quietly, and I didn't. I'm just saying, the article claims
it's TMZ.
He
Keep that in mind.
So, and look, they get stuff pretty quick over there, obviously. But I don't know if they vetted that or if somebody just wrote that up, not thinking about that he would have to serve it. That thing made it seem like the article made it seem like maybe he had already.
We'll try to reach out. I'm live on the air. I'm going to text one of our Odyssey legal insiders we've had on the past, and Amy Dash, and see if she has any availability to pop on. Drew, I'll let you know as we're doing this live on the air. I would love to just ask her that very quick. With the little note, does this mean there's a chance that it could impact his current legal situation already?
Well, I mean, is it, and I guess this doesn't say, is it I would assume civil lawsuit because the lack of police report, right?
It is a civil suit. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah. And that's a good question for Amy, as I'm not a lawyer. Does the civil suit, because this, the part of his plea agreement in the previous case was stay out of trouble, right? So would that apply to that or not? I don't know. Civil case versus criminal or everything else in between. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. So I don't know whether or not that took place, but it's just another,
It's related to the other one we already did.
This is very similar to the, when we were, it's the same thing as when we were talking about the Instagram post that was later deleted. And at the time, I thought there was a possibility that maybe they had settled something outside of that circumstance in order for Rice to try to make it go away. But clearly that's not the case. She took down the post, but she didn't stop a pursuit against Rice over this period of time that she is accusing him of really heinous abuse.
Yeah.
So we'll figure out what happens next.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll certainly discuss it throughout the show today. For just joining us for the first time and wondering why we're talking once again about Rashi Rice, it's TMZ is reporting that his longtime girlfriend, also mother of his children, filed a lawsuit against him, accusing him of choking, strangling, scratching, hitting, headbutting over a 19-month period. So that's where we're at. We'll try to see if we can't maybe get a legal expert on the show today to try to answer some of the questions that we obviously just don't have the answers to. And I don't know how many answers that even a legal expert would, but we can at least play out some potential scenarios of what could happen there. All right. Before we get to the Chiefs Red half hour in 20 minutes, let's talk about a wide receiver. I mean, we were already planning on discussing a free agent wide receiver, and maybe that changes the answer for some people if, in fact, it turns out to be where Rice would not be available. But Mike Evans, it's now official that he's returning to football. And I'll admit, I was confused yesterday because I saw Schefter tweet, Mike Evans is returning. At first I was like, no, returning to the Bucs. But I was like, returning to the Bucs? No, he just meant returning to the NFL, as in he's not retiring. I didn't know people actually thought Mike Evans was considering retirement. So to me, that wasn't a huge chunk of news necessarily. But the bigger question is, now that we know he, I guess, is officially playing in 2026, Cody, is he going back to Tampa? And we know we played the audio from last summer where basically his wife convinced him she wanted to stay in Tampa. So, hey, if she wants to stay, we're staying. And I don't have to tell you, you're a married man. If your wife wants to do something and wants to stay somewhere, you're probably going to listen.
She's bound and determined to stay in an area. Probably.
Is she still that way, or is Mike Evans already has a ring, so he's not ring chasing? But also, is he done with Tampa? Is he done with playing it out in with Todd Bowles and that group? Does he want another opportunity to go play somewhere else for the first time in his NFL career? I don't know that answer, but naturally, I know Carrington is on board with bringing in Mike Evans. I told you, if Kelsey's not back or if Rashi Rice is not available, that changes my answer. I'm not as sold that there's goes back to the Tyreek Hill thing yesterday. Yeah. Players coming off of injury that were not available much the year prior that are also in their mid-30s scare the crap out of me. I don't really have much faith that they're just going to be the same player. I actually think Mike Evans' injury, because it was way less severe, is more likely to bounce back, but he played in 8 games and 14 games the last 2 years. Are you catching him where he's just going to be a little more injury prone?
I guess, he had mentioned in that clip we'd played Kansas City, so it's certainly not out of there. But I was like you in this. I was a little surprised. I was like, what the hell are you mentioning? Like, what do you mention Mike Evans coming back from football? I thought everyone universally agreed that Mike Evans was returning to the sport. Now, this goes back to the Rice stuff and the other stuff that it comes to there. It's like, it depends on how comfortable you are. And this is why I think Mike Evans becomes appealing to some Chiefs fans and to the Chiefs in some way. And I'm not, I'm only just giving the other side in the sense that Gold, I also wouldn't, I wouldn't sign him unless Travis Kelce wasn't returning. But if there's any hanging up in the air, because remember, the Chiefs were a little bit caught off, they initially weren't necessarily thinking the first 6 games were going to happen for Rice. They were prepping as if he was going to be suspended at a later time or the following year or a different time. And so they didn't know it was necessarily going to be those first 6 games, and they didn't necessarily think it was going to be 6 games that he got suspended for. If there's any other kind of stuff, as we just mentioned, lingering over, you can't really get more everyday, consistent wide receiver guy than Mike Evans. If you presume health, and the Chiefs probably will if they're willing to give him a contract, you probably just flatline him at 1,000 yards without even thinking about it. Okay, he'll have 70 to 80 catches and 1,000 yards, and I don't have to think about it. It's kind of what you're hoping Rice does for you, but it's almost a guarantee if he plays the number of games you would expect him to play. It's consistency. I get the appeal. I get the appeal of Mike Evans has been one of the most consistent NFL players in NFL history, arguably. He's never taken, other than I think a single year, some massive leap forward and been like a 1,500-yard guy. He's just like an 1,100-yard guy. Every year in, year out, and just lives his life. So some part of that, the offense that hasn't had a lot of that, it's not the worst, but I don't know. I haven't Kelsey, but that's it. Who else is consistent in the offense? Mahomes, Kelsey, and a list. Anybody else?
Right now, you can't count on anybody else currently. No.
So, at least that would be, and look, maybe running back if they draft or sign the right guy or draft the right guy, but you won't know that going into it either because running backs historically are not consistent performers.
You could argue right now it's just Mahomes and Kelsey because we just got done saying, we don't know what's going to happen with Rice, but also even last year because of the ACL injury, he missed because of the ACL injury and then the 6-game suspension. You couldn't count on him. I can't say you can count on him when he was just suspended for 6 games because of what happened off the field. So currently, guys, you're truly counting on from a playmaker standpoint. Yeah, it's Kelsey and Mahomes, and Kelsey's not even on the roster right now. He is a free agent.
Yeah, he hasn't even technically said he's coming back. I was just penciling him in for the purposes of this conversation. Another reason why, again, if Kelsey's not here, I'm instantly interested in Mike Evans. Come on down to Kansas City. It's lovely here. I know your kids and you all like it in Florida. You can go back there whenever you want. No questions asked, Mike Evans' wife. I don't remember her name, unfortunately. I just remember that was a huge part of the story, and he's openly admitted in an interview that she really, 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 really wanted to stay in that area, so she did. And so that's fine. And going inside of that, that's fine. And so we just got to figure out what's next for him. But yeah, Mike Evans becomes at the very least, an intriguing figure as it goes in there because you're curious. But you're right. Sometimes news gets reported that I guess I just thought we knew.
Well, the way it was phrased in the tweet from Schefter, he made it seem like he's returning to Tampa. I think he might have done that on purpose, quite honestly. He may have just done that on purpose, Cody.
You think to get the clicks?
Possibly.
You think Schefter is just farming out clicks?
Yeah. I think that happens a lot.
Anybody thinks his Twitter account's gotten worse? Has he gotten a better camera setup since then?
Oh, I don't watch the podcast. I told you I'm not a big podcast listener or watcher.
It's funny for somebody who works in this medium.
Yeah,
I've
talked to our boss about this.
Podcasts.
I've talked to our boss about this. Yeah, sports podcasts and sports talk shows. When I'm not on I don't want to listen. That's not like what we talk about for 20 hours a week, and then on Saturday I do a separate show. Like I don't want to drive home and listen to that necessarily, or drive in and listen to that.
I listen to other things, history, news. I don't know, a little bit of it. It just depends. Pop culture, whatever it is. I don't listen to any companion podcast. Nobody's roped me into I was just telling you yesterday, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I'm not listening to the companion podcast.
Okay.
To go with that, I did mean to tell you on that show. I told you this most recent one. I think is one of the better Game of Thrones episodes ever. Maybe like top 10-ish. I'm not saying it's the best episode ever, but it's one of in the series that I was going to tell you. One of the things that might appeal to you as far as getting through it quickly. First season's only going to be 6 episodes. The episodes are not like the old Game of Thrones episode, like an hour 10. They're like 35 to 40 minutes.
I can get caught up pretty quick.
You could watch it at night if you were dedicated enough, I mean, maybe you want to watch KU Remu tonight, but...
Yeah, I'll watch a little
Thursday. There's no Thursday night football. Were you guys... Did the news break... Sorry, just real quick. Did the news break on the Wednesday football game last week when I was gone for the Friday? Did you guys talk about that, the Melbourne game?
Yeah.
Insane. Man, the NFL.
The fact that they're going to play on Wednesday?
Yes, it's stupid.
Yeah,
We're like one step away from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday football.
Yeah, it's greedy. My take on it was, honestly, if I'm a Seahawks fan, if I end up not getting the first game, I'd be pissed. Yeah,
I'd be annoyed.
But no, it's a greed thing. And then, we got into that. You were gone on Friday with the report card stuff, too. Oh, yeah, we got into all that.
Oh, the report cards. That's, just as a side note on that one, come on, NFL owners. You got embarrassed and your feelings got hurt? So you got to get rid of the report cards that make you look bad? Oh, so sad. Because otherwise, why get rid of them? Change anything for you other than it makes you look bad.
Are you raising your voice at me?
That's me to the NFL owners. Oh, Mick Cronin.
Trash of the day.
All right. This has to do with a game of beer pong. When's the last time you played a little beer pong? Actually, if you with actual beer, it's been a bit, but we did play pong downstairs. No, we had with the sales staff. Now that was with water in the cup. We weren't drinking.
It's been a while.
Okay, it has for me.
I don't know when the last time I played beer pong is. I can't remember it, but it's been a little while.
Okay, so this involved someone that was 19 years old that had to go to the hospital after suffering an injury during beer pong.
Okay.
It's not from drinking too much or something like that. You should remind me, what beer pong injury could you have that would cause you to have to go to the emergency room?
I've played a lot of beer pong. I can't remember anybody getting hurt. Unless you just slipped on some beer and cracked your skull open?
No, that didn't happen. No, the 19-year-old was brought to the hospital with acute throat pain, difficulty swallowing, and abnormal breathing following a round of beer pong. The initial exam showed the patient's throat was inflamed. An x-ray revealed what appeared to be a bottle cap lodged in the man's upper esophagus. The cap fell into the patient's red Solo cup during the beer pong match.
And he didn't realize he drank it?
Unknowingly swallowed it an hour before arriving at the ER. Even though he had, stable airway, doctors had to use surgical intervention to remove the bottle cap due to the potential for damage or perforation. He underwent an emergency rigid esophageal? No, but esophagoscopy or something. Anyway, in which a thin tube with a camera attached was inserted through his nose or mouth without complication, and he's going to be fine. But so you're in the heat of the moment playing beer pong, and you're quickly throwing down the drink, and you don't realize you swallowed a whole bottle cap.
I'm sorry. How? How do you not realize that you swallowed a bottle cap? Well, I feel like you'd notice that.
I would think. I guess he was really just throwing it back, opening it up.
Was he already pretty drunk?
I don't know.
Because I will say, that is the big downside of beer pong. If you're actually drinking the beers, that's a quick way to get drunk.
Oh yeah,
it's a supercharged way to get after it a little bit.
It goes on to say from the New York Post, foreign body's ingestion is most common in patients under 15, with the highest, of course, occurring when they're 1 to 3 years old. Okay, that makes sense. Last year, a 13-year-old New Zealand boy had part of his intestines removed after swallowing more than 100 high-powered magnets.
Oh, no!
Yeah. Also, a Colorado toddler underwent emergency surgery, swallowed a battery, burned a hole in her esophagus. Dude.
You gotta watch it with kids, man.
Yeah.
Just get themselves in trouble.
Coins, of course, are the most common inedible objects swallowed by children. That's not surprising. More than 60% of cases in which children sought medical care.
Only had to go to the urgent care one time for my kids sticking something in their nose, ear, or mouth, which I thought was pretty good for, little kids getting through it. So not terrible.
Someone says, a bottle top, or are we talking a can top? No, it sounded like it would be like a plastic cap that you would have on your water bottle. That's what I'm taking it as.
I just don't understand. I guess I took it like a bottle cap, like a beer bottle cap, like a metal one.
Oh.
And that's why I couldn't understand
I don't know.
how you didn't.
I
mean,
it
they were
could be
drinking
either.
beer.
I don't know. It could be either. I don't know. I was thinking like a plastic.
Yeah.
How would you just swallow this?
Without noticing?
You're just throwing it back. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but my beers are usually chunky. It's like
someone says,
I should have some idea.
Someone says maybe he doesn't have a gag reflex.
Someone says team player, champion mentality, not even thrown off by his. I think you must have already been drunk. I think the only excuse for that is you didn't notice because you were already, a little drunk. You never woke up with like a bruise and you're like, the hell happened?
Yeah, back in college or something. Yeah.
How old was this person?
19.
Yeah, that tracks.
Other one for you.
That definitely would have been when something like that would have happened.
And one other one for you real quick, trash of the day. This has to do with someone that was sent to prison because of a megaphone. No, you've talked about your neighbors before. Drew's talked about his neighbors upstairs before. So this was in Taiwan. A woman was sentenced to 3 months in prison because she used a megaphone to scream insults at her neighbors late at night for nearly 2 years. For 2 straight years, starting in May of 2023, she would blast profanity from her balcony at max volume at least 3 times a week, with each session lasting several minutes. After failing to reason with her dozen of neighbors that were impacted, they filed a joint complaint. In court, she admitted to it, but claimed her neighbor's noise drove her to it. The judge didn't buy it, though she could pay a fine of $3,600 instead of doing the jail time. So she might just pay the but she's sentenced to 3 months in prison. My guess is she'll pay the $3,600.
Oh, man. 3 months in prison?
Yeah, pay the $3,600.
It is pretty funny. But yeah, go ahead and pay the $3,600 if you got it. I mean, I'll figure out a way to get it. Like, I can get my hands on $3,600 if it means I don't have to go to jail for 3 months. We had a megaphone for the Wittizens event. I think it's still in our office. Nobody's ever said, Cody, I wish you had a megaphone, though.
No.
Quite the opposite, traditionally.
Yeah, please don't.
Nobody usually wants
that. I have to adjust my headphone volume at times throughout the show because of Cody. I'm convinced that I'm going to be screwed with hearing.
And it's going to be my fault?
Radio in general.
Your voice to make
radio will do that, but I'm convinced that I'm screwed.
Yeah, me too.
I think we're going to be in big trouble. I don't like AirPods when I'm at the gym or whatever. I don't think I have the volume on that loud, but unfortunately, wearing headphones for 20 hours a week at minimum, I feel like that can't be good for us here in about 20 years.
No, and then I wear headphones at home too.
Oh, see, I don't do that. That's right. You've told me at home. I'm like
if I'm cleaning and doing stuff and running a vacuum, I might have headphones on while I'm doing that. So
maybe it's because you have kids and stuff. I'm like, it's just me at my apartment. If I want to play music, I'll just have the music playing in the apartment.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I can't do that, but it's like I like the headphones, or I don't know, maybe I just like the sound of it. But yeah. But also, are you bothering your neighbors by playing the music?
I'm not having the bass just thump thump. I'm not going crazy.
And you only have one neighbor on a wall? Are you on an end? No, you got a neighbor on either side.
Either side and below, but not above.
Okay.
Or no, not below.
You're right.
I wouldn't have
just
anybody below.
sides.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. The way it's set up, there wouldn't be anybody. Anyway, that's the trash of the day. Up next, we'll get back to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. We'll talk more about Patrick Mahomes, who helped the Chiefs free up about $43 million in cap space. What does that mean? And the player that I do not want them to do the same for. Next.
Watch Cody and Gold on YouTube by subscribing to the 96.5 YouTube channel. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Do you ever want to go to the NBA Finals? I mean, who would not want to experience the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. NBA futures let you lock in your pick for who you think will go all the way, right? Whether it's a team to win the championship or win the Eastern or Western Conference, you can go on to FanDuel, go on the app right now and take a look. Maybe the Eastern Conference, where it's pretty stacked up right now with the Knicks, the Celtics, the Pistons, the Cavs, all kind of with about the same odds, anywhere from 3 to 4 to 1 to win the East. You do that, use a profit boost, and you're entered. It's that simple. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Limit one entry for Profit Boost token. Opt-in required. Must apply Profit Boost token on select market. Restrictions apply. See full terms, including methods of entry, at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
40,000 people. That's not a crowd. It's a small city. It's also the number of people choosing pain relief without surgery. 40,000 people who said, stop, before you replace my knee or my hip. Before I put my life on hold, there has to be another way. And they found it at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in cellular level treatments that revitalize joint tissue naturally. Patients who thought surgery was the only answer are getting their lives back thanks to QC Kinetics advanced regenerative treatments. Surgery isn't always the answer. QC Kinetics uses safe, natural treatments to activate your body's healing power with zero downtime. Get started now to ease inflammation and slow the progression of osteoarthritis. Call them today because 40,000 people can't be wrong. Before you say yes to surgery, do your research and call my friends at QC Kinetics. The consultation's free. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Don't let winter catch you off guard. Keep your family cozy with a $69 heating system tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. We have pros available 7 days a week to keep your system running at peak efficiency, helping prevent costly breakdowns, lower energy bills, and keep your home warm all winter long. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
If you love seafood, pull up anchor and set sail for Hy-Vee's annual fish and seafood sale. Get a whale of a deal on all your favorites for Lent. Salmon, tuna, trout, and catfish. Seafood lovers shrimp, crab legs, and lobster mac and cheese. Eating seafood twice a week has major health benefits. Count on Hy-Vee to sell only the freshest seafood backed by the Responsible Choice Guarantee. All hands on deck for the annual seafood sale going on now at Hy-Vee.
One thing I love doing is going to Hy-Vee. I love going up and down the aisles and finding everything I need. But sometimes we're just very busy. With 2 girls in high school right now, we are swamped. So we use Hy-Vee's aisles online. I go to the Hy-Vee app or at Hy-Vee.com. I choose the store I want, I select my items, and then Hy-Vee does all the shopping for me. All I have to do is pick it up or, better yet, have it delivered to my home. So I'm going to save time and I'm going to save money. What could be better? Only at Hy-Vee.
Let's go! You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
How do airplanes fly? What's in this box? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Learn how to store your gun securely and make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
This update is brought to you by Ollie's Bargain Outlet.
Savings!
Discounts. The best bargains.
At Ollie's, we've got brand name merchandise at up to 70% off the fancy store prices every day.
I get to keep more money in my pocket.
Ollie's!
Good stuff, cheap! You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Don't forget, the 1 hour from now, we're headed out to sunny Surprise, Arizona, although the weather here is going to be pretty damn good today, too. We might get to 70 in Kansas City. I'm guessing Surprise is going to be 75, maybe 70 as well. So you know what? I'm not as jealous as I normally would be of Vern being in Arizona. He will join us an hour from now. We'll discuss a little bit about Noah Cameron, which is something that you and I were talking about earlier in the show. We'll also talk more about how he thinks the MLBPA news from yesterday could impact, if anything, things for baseball in 2027 with the CBA expiring at the end of this year. But we start the Chiefs Red Half Hour with the news earlier this morning prior to the Rashi Rice news, which we'll get back to with the lawsuit that Rashi Rice just had filed against him from his ex-girlfriend. The Chiefs freed up $43 million in cap space by restructuring the Patrick Mahomes deal. I don't think that surprises anybody. If anybody has remotely been paying attention, this was expected. We didn't know if it'd be the full $43 million, in fairness, but he was always a restructure candidate. They were way above the cap, and so they convert $44 million of his base plus 10.4 roster bonus into a signing bonus, creating $43 million of cap space. The Chiefs are still over the cap by about $11 million. That just tells you where their cap spot was. This was just to get into a spot where you can start to maneuver. Yeah. And what that does is it means next year's cap hit is $85 million. So they could do it again next year, or they need to do a brand new contract next year. We'll see how it plays out. This does not mean he's taking a pay cut or anything. It's a signing bonus. He's getting his money tomorrow.
He's getting paid in
today.
advance.
Yeah. So you're like, why would the player do it? This part of it doesn't really harm the player unless he wanted to say, hey, I want a brand new contract. Doesn't sound like that's happening at this point for this offseason. And they can make some other moves. They can free up another $20 million to get on the good side of the cap. $20 million if you cut Jawan Taylor. They could go ahead and cut Mike Dana if they wanted to and save another 8.9. Or Drew Tranquil is 6. Noah Gray is another 5. What I don't want them to do, though, Cody, is restructure anybody else unless it's like a Trey Smith or a Creed Humphrey.
A long-term
Trey
player
Smith's young,
in their 20s.
Yeah, he's young enough, and you just gave him an extension. I don't care if you add another year, essentially, or a bigger cap hit later. That's Trey Smith. You could free up $12 million. What I don't want them to do is restructure Chris Jones. I think that's where it could get you in some trouble. I'm fine with restructuring Mahomes, not worried about that 6-7 years from now. Chris Jones, though, $22 million could be saved. I guess you want to restructure $5 million of it or something. Maybe you can talk me into it. I definitely don't want to restructure all $22 million. Yikes. No way. I'm not pushing that down further. No way.
Well, and it's the thing. If you're going to do that, well, then just restructure some of Mahomes and some of Chris Jones because they went for full freight. And to be clear, this is now the 4th year in a row they have restructured Patrick Mahomes. They have not moved every cent they could move in all 4 of those years. They chose the dollar amount they thought they roughly needed in order to make it all work. They went full bore. They moved every single cent. That, to me, indicates they're getting ready to tear up his contract and that this is the last year of the Mahomes super mechanism. Oh, and they might still put it in the new one, but the version of this contract, I think, is getting torn up at the end of this year, and they're going to start anew at the end of the year, get him back in line with the average annual per year on the contract that makes it appear like he's the highest paid, because that's the other thing. He's going to make $70 million this year, so he's still the highest paid quarterback. His cap hit's lower, and this is what makes his contract so genius. But the only way it works in the long term is if you, the quarterback, trust that they won't just cut you loose down the road when they could, and that you, the player, trust that, and that you, the team, trust that Patrick Mahomes will still be good. From the Chris Jones end, I'm with you. One of these contracts you have to wear. Okay? You just got to get to the end of it. And you got to ride it out the way you did the Joe Tooney one, which is in the final year, if they're a single big cap hit number, you move them or you eat the number for the final time and just wear it. The same way the Broncos did with Russell Wilson, or unfortunately for the Browns, are having to do with Deshaun Watson or others. You just have to wear the number for a final year and then start fresh. Because clearing that amount of cap space off there,
at least this case,
the dead cap years.
At least this case, Chris Jones is still playing. Yeah, you gave the examples.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys are
like a guy that can still play.
Those guys are playing.
It makes it even easier to eat the contract number, you know?
Yeah.
Those players I'm talking about, they had to eat the contract number. You're right. Weren't even players for their team anymore. Well, like technically Watson's on the roster.
So the scenario of like, if you're saying like, what's the max the Chiefs could clear out? Like, if they really wanted
110 million, I think.
I mean,
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I think it's like that
so they've already cleared up 40 million today.
44.
44
right?
million. Yeah. Jawan Taylor gets you to 64. Mike Dana, let's call it, round up to 9 million.
12 million more with
that's 70,
Trey Smith.
So that's 73 million. I'm just talking about the cuts for now.
Oh,
73 million. Drew Tranquil's another 6 million. That gets you to 79 million. And Noah Gray, we'll call it 5.5 million. So you're at 84 million just with cutting guys and one restructure. And that's before you even have to restructure anybody else. You and I agree on Chris Jones that they could free up 22 million. But Trey Smith, let's just go 12.5 million. Let's say they restructure that deal. All of a sudden, we're close to $100 million of free cap space. That's not cap room. That's what they have freed up. That's not exactly what they have. They don't have $100 million to go out and spend, but it would get you to where you would have 30 million, 25 million.
No, absolutely it would. They can have, again, they could clear out, if they just wanted to kick the whole can down the road. And here's the thing. If they were in the middle of a three-peat, I think they would. But because they are coming off a 6-win season, they don't have to play it like that, and they can restructure some to give themselves the space requisite to still field a very competitive team, and hell, maybe even make a run and do all that stuff while still protecting your future interest. Jones is the deal that's not worth kicking down the road. Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, sure.
Yeah,
they might get another contract after this one. What do I care?
Creed's number, if you again, they don't have to do the full, but restructure is 8.8. George Karlaftis 7.9, Trey Smith 12.5, and
these players aren't going anywhere right now.
Some of the text line says, "Am I crazy for not understanding?"
No, that's
it is wild, and the cap. This is why people say like the cap is not. There's ways you can maneuver it. No, it is complicated. It's confusing. Essentially, again, what the Chiefs just did today is they took $44 million of the base salary for Mahomes plus his $10.5 million roster bonus. And they converted it, which you're allowed to do, into a signing bonus, which means you can alleviate the cap hit for this year. It doesn't mean the money. It doesn't mean that, like, you don't ever have to deal with the consequences.
No,
Next year, the cap hit goes up to $85 million. So they will have to either do it again or make a decision, and you and I think they're going to maybe do a brand new contract. So, yeah, you can convert it. But the reason why not every team does it is, A, as we just said with Chris Jones, some players you don't want to keep kicking the can down the road. And the ownership has to be willing, in cash, to pony up.
They have to cut the check.
Yeah.
It is interesting that they don't like the dead. There's something about dead cap that frustrates them because, like, they don't do the dummy years that's existed in the NFL. And there's been a salary cap use for a number of teams, right? They could restructure Chris Jones and say, oh, and we had 3 void years at the end.
Yeah.
Clark Hunt doesn't like paying players who are no longer on the roster, but doesn't seem to have a problem ponying up the check for the player who actively is. And look, that's just a philosophy thing. Every team handles it a little bit different. And I give Patrick Mahomes more credit, I guess, than the team, but both deserve credit for making this structure work. It is the only contract like this in the NFL. There are other restructures, right? We just mentioned Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, Chris Jones. It is intentionally designed in Mahomes' contract that you can max out or change the number to whatever you want every year, written in a way that he'll always get his money and you'll always pay him the money, but you get to choose the way you need to handle it cap-wise. I will say, somebody earlier in the text line said, doing this was essentially foregoing any chance at a new dynasty.
I disagree with that.
I disagree with it for starters, but also I don't think they could get under the cap without doing this to Mahomes' deal. Unless you were going to restructure Jones and cut everybody and just, unless you were planning on really not fielding a competitive team this year. I don't know that there was like an easy way to get under the cap without Mahomes' money. That's how they've designed their cap situation. They've designed it all around the idea that they could always go to the bank of Mahomes.
The guarantee mechanisms and all the stuff we heard about when the contract was signed way back when.
Things turned out even better than
because they still are $11 million over the cap right this second, even with doing what they did.
Yeah,
you know that's that's the situation they're in. We'll talk more about this later on in the 1 o'clock hour today as well. We'll also, coming up right after what's trending at noon, we'll get into the Rashi Rice lawsuit. It was filed against him, according to TMZ. It was filed in district court today by his ex-girlfriend, mother of his children. Very serious allegations. Very similar, of course, to the Instagram post, but now it is going through a court, and will go through a court unless, a court system. Key point, this is civil still, not criminal. There's still no police report. But does this, now that it's going through the court system, does that change how the league could act? And we'll discuss that.
He'd be a two-time offender of the personal conduct policy if they chose, which would mean probably more games than the last time.
And he got 6 last time, and we know the reports where the league wanted to nail him for 12.
I hate to say,
remember?
Them, if they decide, because of the way this legal stuff goes down, to suspend him under there, a year is not out of the question.
So we'll get to this again in the noon hour. It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour here on Cody and Gold. You found a bizarre stat that I don't even know what to make of it. Warren Sharp tweeted it out. I didn't even see this from him.
Oh, it's so weird.
This is one of the weirder ones, and I guess it's like a luck thing more than anything else. It has to do with field goals.
Yeah, I found this fascinating, mostly because I was thinking about, when you think about the Chiefs season, a lot of things, everything that could go wrong did go wrong, was kind of how their season went, right? Injury, suspension, unfortunate plays, like all the stuff that went wrong. This was just, and we talked about like the one-score games where they won an 11 gold in one-score games this year, a year after being undefeated in that category. The Chiefs last year had the single highest opponent field goal make percentage that anyone else in the league made against them. Kickers against the Chiefs. You weren't imagining that they were all making their kicks. Kickers against the Chiefs made 97% of their field goals against Kansas City. For instance, the bottom of this list was Houston and San Francisco. Only 67% of kicks were made against them. Now, in fairness, Denver had 95% of the kicks made against them. It did not stop them from being successful. But a lot of the other teams you see in the middle, because the average is like 88, 87, 86%. You see a huge chunk of the NFL, 97%. Kickers just made every kick against the Chiefs the whole season? Doesn't that seem kind of weird to you? What a bizarre stat from last year.
Yeah, that's what, I don't even know what to make of it other than just like, that's just really weird. And the fact that then, a team like Chicago, who had a lot of good fortune late in games, the opponents only made 77%. I would love to know, like during the Chiefs Super Bowl run of winning them, what was the typical percentage against it? Like
probably not 97.
I mean, as you said, Warren Sharp pointed out, the Chiefs was the second highest versus any team the last decade. So it was a bizarre year. That's not why they were a 6-win team. But
I found it fascinating just based on the way their season went.
I mean, the Broncos, we all thought got a lot of luck. 95% of kicks against them were made. Yeah.
But if you look through the list, how many of them are playoff teams in which, like this is the swing thing of, and you and I talked about this one-score games. Every game in the NFL is a one-score game. A huge percentage, not every, but a huge percentage of NFL games are one-score games because the NFL's close. So the percentage of kicks made against you would make a difference in your one-score game record. Chiefs, 97%, not a playoff team. Broncos, they're next. They were. Dallas, not. Detroit, not. New Orleans, Buffalo, Cincinnati, we're tied at 92%. There's one more playoff team. Las Vegas, Arizona, Tennessee, all not playoff teams. Chargers, 3 of the top 10. Now, look, do I think this is the end-all, be-all? No.
Also,
but
what's
it is
the
a difference
distance
in
of the
one-score games? It's crazy. Oh, yeah,
where
they
the
get deep
kicks?
into...
Well, yeah, what's the distance of the kicks? I mean, do the Chiefs have more field goals inside 40 against them? Do they have more above 50? We know percentage for field goal kickers under 45 yards was very, very high this year. I don't know.
More chip shots because they knew the Chiefs couldn't score against them, and they just took the points. All of those things are plausible. But it is a fascinating... All it does for me, really, is highlight what a year it was. And what a year it was from all the luck and goodwill you curried for an entire season to just get to the Super Bowl. I know eventually they got their ass kicked, but just to get to the Super Bowl against the Eagles, all got burned out, and now it's a net zero. You're at zero because for all the dropped interceptions that maybe happened or all this stuff, every ball that got tipped in the air got picked. Every field goal that went in.
Yeah.
Like your luck this year. And I'm not saying, again, they did a lot of things just wrong, but their luck this year was wretched.
Yeah, it's just a bizarre stat. I honestly really don't know what to make of it. I don't know if it really, I mean, it's cool to look at. I just don't I tend to lean that it doesn't really mean a whole lot, I guess.
Yeah. You don't think it was in one score? How many games did they lose by a field goal, though, Chiefs, schedule, and results. These teams had made a league average amount of field goals. They get 2 more wins, Probably not that many. That's over.
I mean, I don't think there's a way, I don't know.
Let's see. 3-point or less. They lost by 3 to the Eagles. They lost by 3 to the Jags. They lost by 3 to the Broncos, 3 to the Cowboys, 3 to the Chargers, 2 to the Raiders. This season was way over by then. I mean, again, I'm not saying it's it, but if they just made the league average amount of kicks against him, and one of those kicks, were in any of those games, it technically could account for a couple of wins, a win or 2, based on the number of 3-point games they lost just this season, 7 or 8. I just listened to you. Based on that, it might be good for a win, 2.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
it's not nothing.
I would love to know the history of it over the last 5 years or so and see if there was any correlation. My guess is
very close.
Starting to sound like Andy Reid. We're very close,
I already said I don't want to say that.
I will say this.
That's what it sounds like.
Drew, that drop is great because if a coach, and I know Cody's not claiming this is why, but if a coach tried to bring up the stat Cody brought up from Warren
exactly
Sharp,
how he would say
we would all say, "Oh, this is pathetic.
Yeah,
you're making excuses. This is pathetic." How
Now, in fairness, I'm not saying they would have been a playoff team if kickers just missed a little bit. I really meant it as they still weren't close. But I've said this before. This wasn't a 6-win team that should have won 12 games. But this was a 6-win team that should have won 9. Right? As in, they were better than their record. They still screwed up a lot of stuff, but they had everything work against them this year. Not everything work against them is that they would have won the division or gone to the AFC title game
stuff go against
or
them.
went to the Super Bowl.
Just like how some would argue last year.
But boy,
2 years ago, they had everything go right for them because they were so good.
I just said that.
100%.
It was just a cursed year.
Absolutely.
In every conceivable way. I guess that's what it's a cursed year, and this was just another way in which they were cursed.
We do have stats.
Yes, and this is one of them.
One press conference? We were very close. We do have
we're
stats.
Try to tickle your tonsils.
I mean, he said we were close multiple times. That wasn't just a one-off.
But all those were in one. All those were in one press conference, I think.
There, we did have a nice run there.
Shock jock.
That's an older one.
Mm-hmm. I'm just curious. Scrolling through, seeing what drops we had of Andy Reid.
We got a few. Over the years.
I just think again,
I'm not trying to say it's the end all be all, but it is still. It was fascinating enough that I'm like, we got to talk about this stat. It's so weird.
You see in the bullpen behind you, if you're watching on YouTube, you can sometimes see behind Cody, the boss and Rob. Everybody's stressing out right now watching. There's hockey on. There's hockey going on right now.
Yeah,
and you've got Canada and Czechia tied up.
Everybody wants Canada and USA in the gold medal game.
US plays Sweden this afternoon. We're going to talk about it next hour because Snoop is going to be involved in the broadcast. But it's crunch time in the third period. This would be a big upset though if Canada lost. And yeah, for frankly, I want Canada to win so we get the USA-Canada final.
Speck said he thinks Sweden could beat the U.S. today.
Oh boy! So there's 9 minutes left in the third period. But look, if
it's 2-2.
Yeah, it's 2-2. Canada's not losing yet, but
they were losing earlier.
Were they?
Mm-hmm.
So it's 2-2. But yeah, I want USA-Canada final for a gold medal match.
You said it's going to be nice outside later?
68, so I'll call it 70.
I'm going to take my kid to a basketball.
I'm gonna have to take the top off on the vehicle here.
We have reached the point of childhood that I think we're all familiar with which everything's a basketball goal and constant dribbling in the house. Now I got him one of those soft basketballs.
Yep, my nephews have those.
So I don't have to I don't have to listen to it. But it's just like, he doesn't want to play any organized sport, but he wants everything to be a game. So I'm just going to have to stick him. He's going to have no choice. Because I said, do you want to play basketball? He's like, no, didn't you see? He's like, I just went around the house 4 times and I knocked the ball twice. It's like, what do you think? Every 7-year-old is just handles like Steph Curry, just never gets rid of the ball. Even he fumbles the ball sometimes. What are you talking about? He did discover Steph Curry highlights on YouTube, though. Of him, and so now it's
watching
just
highlights. Yeah,
there's a lot of those.
Oh yeah. Well, now he was just he's like, I made it one-handed earlier, like Steph. I was like, okay. He said Stephen Curry. He said the full name.
Yeah.
Which is funny
as long as he pronounced it right, and unlike Nike did.
How did Nike pronounce it?
Steven.
Well, in fairness,
Stephen Curry.
He's an Under Armour guy, right?
Stephen Curry.
He used to be. He's a free agent now.
Wait, he's not Under Armour anymore?
No, he's
That's
free
like
agent.
Tiger not being with Nike. It throws me off.
Yeah.
He's a free agent. He's not with Under Armour?
He's been he's been showing up to games in different shoes, like Ant shoes.
He's wearing whatever.
And, like Jordans, Kobe's, Luka. Like, yeah, he's been showing up in random shoes.
Oh,
Got to get the man a new shoe deal.
I think he's been warm. I think it's over with. But at least he's been warming up in other players' shoes, and then maybe he's been playing in Under Armour's, like the actual games. But he's going to be a free agent if he's not already. A sneaker free agent, if you will.
Okay.
A sneaker free agent.
And that contract is going to be massive.
Yeah, I would say so.
You think?
I would say so.
He is a massive player. I will say, we're talking like all the basketball and international games. So obviously they continue, and we know this. I saw there's going to be a Mexico City game, and they announced the 49ers are a part of it. Very frustrated in the sense that, and this goes back to the competitive versus business part. I understand it is a business, and that has to be a part of the way you operate. These owners have gone too far in the business of international games versus competitive balance. The 49ers, I don't even know what their over-under is. I'm taking the under. Right now, I'll take the under. Drew, don't know who they draft, who they sign as a free agent, who's healthy or hurt. I'll take the under. The 49ers are going to play a game in Australia to open the season.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to play another international game in Mexico City, and they have two different cross-country flight road games to head to New York or Philly, that they got to go all the way across the United States of America to do it. You can't operate by making a team travel this much and be successful. It has an impact on the players and on the team. That's before their electrical substation or whatever else is setting them back. I'm taking the under on the 49ers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I wouldn't want this for the Chiefs.
The Niners playing 2 international games and then the travel. It's bad. This is where eventually, long term, everybody's going to play 2 international games, but they're going to have to knock off a preseason game. They're going to have the double bye. Like that's where this is all headed. But the 49ers certainly have their work cut out for them in 2026. I'd have to see the win total to be like firmly just automatically that can't happen. But the fact that they're willing, I thought they're just going to play in Australia, and then now seeing today that they're going to host in Mexico City is kind of crazy.
Scoob on Twitch is suggesting maybe this is all so they can get away from the power plant. More travel.
They're just trying to
get further away from it. Less likely of catastrophic injuries.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would hate this for the Chiefs. I want them to travel as little internationally as possible. Fine, the one game a year everyone's got to wear. Multiple, including cross. And this is the benefit of being in Kansas City. They don't ever have to do cross-country road trips.
This is why all the World Cup teams are basing in Kansas City. It cuts their travel time in half if they got to go to one of the coasts.
Yeah, it helps. It definitely helps. But I hate this competitive balance part. And Clark, and I don't remember, was this like 6 months ago? You and I talked a little bit about this. And I had said, I don't think he'd been questioned enough on the idea that they have, in their desperate pursuit of international stuff, they have made winning harder in Kansas City in the interim. It hasn't stopped them, right? They're still winning Super Bowls. They were doing all, but he made winning harder there for a stretch and he's not the only one, in a pursuit of an international fan base. And I understand it's a business, but it's also like a window of time in which you can win with Mahomes. The business part you can always go international. You can always seek that. I feel like the 49ers in this case, I think it's just a bad decision. I think it's a bad decision to play multiple international games in a year in which you got to go cross country.
It'll be a storyline, if people are keeping an eye on what that does, and it'll be interesting even from a betting perspective. You'll see the lines for some of those games when they're making the road trip across the country, and then on top of it, the international ones. I mean, where I'm at on the divisional. I don't think any international game should be allowed to be divisional, but that's what they're getting with the 49ers and Rams. And I guess theoretically, is there a chance the Chiefs play in Mexico City against the Niners? They're on the schedule. I guess I thought it was always going to be Europe, but they could be one of they could
played it, or they tried to play in Mexico City.
The Chiefs could end up there
Did
against
they ever
the
actually
Niners.
get back to Mexico City? They played a game there eventually. Not the one that got canceled because of the Shakira concert.
I think that's right.
I thought they got back one time.
I think that's right. I'd have to double check, but I think that's right. Yeah. By the way, as we were talking, Canada's now down 3-2 in the quarterfinal. Yeah, Czechia just got a goal, so 6 minutes to go in the third period. The hopes of Canada dire right now with 5.5 minutes to go if we want to get a USA-Canada final.
Well, that'd be a bummer if neither made it, but that was the matchup we've all been hoping for because they hate each other.
That'd be awesome. All right, up next, guys, we'll get to what's trending. We'll talk more about the lawsuit that was filed against Rashi Rice. The details on that, what could that cause the NFL to do? We'll try to figure that one out together next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
We were talking about the gorgeous weather we're having here in Kansas City today. It's going to be about 70 degrees. I can't wait till the show is over. I'm going to go and quickly pop off at least part of the top of the Bronco. If you looked at my social media, you'll see how easy it is to take the top off on the Bronco. There's just a couple levers, honestly. You twist around and you just push up, and you can store it right there in a nice leather case that they have in your trunk. It's that simple. It takes maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes max to go ahead and get you set up to where you can enjoy a beautiful day in Kansas City. And that Ford Bronco is because of my friends over at Shawnee Mission Ford, where they're going to take care of you. And right now they just announced an additional $2,000 in bonus cash that they're passing on to you, to their customers. You can save up to $7,000 off MSRP on a 25 Bronco, or $9,000 off MSRP on a 25 Explorer, $6,000 off on a 25 Bronco Sport, and also the F-150s and 25 Expeditions, $5,000 off MSRP. Shawnee Mission Ford, it's 2026. They're on a mission to do more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-959-3388. That's 800-959-3388.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ Soft Serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into Soft Serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
The excitement of the Winter Games is well underway. Want to know why betting the Winter Games on FanDuel just makes sense? From game lines to medal counts to finding your angle on the events you care about, FanDuel is giving you more ways to stay connected to the winter action. The Winter Games are on, and there's no better way to follow them than placing a bet over with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. The Winter Games will be over before you know it, so make sure that you're catching up with all the actions with our friends over at FanDuel. So whether it's on curling matches that start slow and somehow get tense fast, or speed skating decided by inches, hockey games that feel different from the opening face-off, and so much more, you can bet all of the Winter Games action with our friends over at FanDuel, packed with action and different events and contenders every single day to keep you going. Remember this, visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 President, Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
America, look around. Everywhere you go, prices are still high, rates have been whipsawing markets, and the debt and spending don't exactly scream stability. Experts say diversifying with intention is the #1 secret account that all American smart money uses to hedge against instability. Monetary Gold has been around since 2000, witnessing multiple economic setbacks. If you call now, Monetary Gold will cover up to a lifetime of your IRA fees on qualified accounts. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Listen to the Royals Spring Training Opener on Friday, February 20th, starting at 2 o'clock right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on what's trending, and it's something we're going to discuss a bit more after what's trending, is that Rashi Rice had a lawsuit filed against him in Dallas, Texas. TMZ was first to report it, and then broke around 11 o'clock or so this morning. A new lawsuit filed in Dallas County, Texas, accusing Rashi Rice of a pattern of domestic abuse. There were court documents filed by his ex-girlfriend, also the mother of his children. She accuses him of physical assault at their homes in Victory Park, Texas, and Lee Summit, Missouri, over the course of many months. Remember, this is a civil suit. This is not, there's no criminal charges at this point in time, but it alleges that the former couple lived together when Rice strangled her, she alleges, at their Texas home in December of 2023. Goes on to say that Rice allegedly continued to repeatedly assault her over the course of the relationship through July of this past year, through July of 2025. He's accused of grabbing, choking, strangling, pushing, throwing, scratching, headbutting, according to the lawsuit. We'll get into this more after. Obviously, very serious allegations, similar to the Instagram post. Now, though, we have a legal document. And so does that change how the NFL is going to proceed?
Next up on What's Trending, the Kansas City Chiefs have restructured Patrick Mahomes' contract, originally reported by Over the Cap, converting $54.45 million of Mahomes' salary into a signing bonus, making his cap number 34.65, saving them almost $44 million in cap space. Still sit about $14 million over the cap, according to Over the Cap, but we'll see. They've still got a few more deals they can do. Jawan Taylor would take care of that all on his own. They could take $20 million just by cutting him. But yeah, they converted $54 million into signing bonus. Mahomes got a big check today, and Chiefs saved a bunch of money on the cap.
Olympics, of course, continuing. Winter Olympics in Milan, Italy. We're keeping an eye on the quarterfinal hockey match between Canada and Czechia. This has been a wild last 5 minutes or so. When we went to break, we told you Canada had just given up a goal and we're down 3-2. Well, during the break, they tied it up. So it's 3-3, third period, 2:10 to go. A lot of drama. The United States will play later this afternoon against Sweden to try to get to the semifinals. U.S. and Canada, opposite sides of the bracket. So if you're wanting a USA-Canada final, you need Canada to win, of course, this match, and the U.S. to beat Sweden. Plus still another match after that.
Yep.
But this has been fun to actually watch. We've been just kind of keeping an eye on it during the show.
Next up on What's Trending, Kansas State did get a win last night against Baylor, 90-74. First game for the interim head coach after the Jerome Tang firing. Obviously, Baylor's not a very good team, but still a win all the same. Two teams in action tonight. MU and KU will both go tonight with their respective squads as well. KU's got Oklahoma State.
Yes.
MU against a ranked opponent tonight in Arkansas.
Vandy,
sorry.
yeah.
Arkansas's the next game. Sorry, it's getting mixed up.
Yeah, back-to-back ranked games coming up for them. Elsewhere on What's Trending, this wasn't all that surprising, although the way it was phrased, some of the reporting made it seem like maybe people thought Mike Evans would retire. Mike Evans says he will play, according to his agents, in 2026. The question, though, is he playing for Tampa? And naturally, would Kansas City be a fit? But if you're wondering whether or not he was going to be playing football, we got that answered yesterday afternoon.
Lastly, on What's Trending, the Big 12 Conference in their continued Image Award announced the Grammy Award-winning global icon DJ Khaled. That's how he says it, right? Will headline the Big 12 tournament after party presented by Venmo, an official partner of the Big 12. So it was Shaq Diesel, right? Last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
It'll be DJ Khaled, who I did see once live in concert. So I've already seen DJ Khaled. I don't actually need to see him a second time.
How many times are we going to hear All I Do Is Win at T-Mobile Center too when we're there. We're going to hear about 100 times, I think.
All I do is win.
Yeah, it'll be a lot. He's only there for the after party, though, right?
Yeah, that's what it says.
But, I mean, they'll still probably play some of his to promote it. Don't you think they'll
I
play
imagine
some of
he'll
his?
play that one when he DJs.
He will. I'm saying during the week.
Yeah.
Are you going to the after party?
No, I haven't been to any of
I'm
the
41 years old. I can't tell you the last time I went to an after party.
It'll be Saturday, by the way, at Power and Light, following the conclusion of the men's title game. He'll make his first ever appearance in Kansas City. He's actually never performed in KC.
Oh, wow.
I'm actually surprised to hear that.
I saw him in San Francisco, for what it's worth, when I saw DJ Khaled
Really?
live. Yep.
He hasn't had new music come out in some time.
And I'm going to preface this because I feel like I actually thought it was a pretty entertaining show when I went. And I'd like to say that I wasn't drunk. That wasn't why I thought it was pretty entertaining.
Okay.
I felt like that needed to be said in order to cover it.
That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold, as there is under a minute left in third period between Canada in this in Czechia in the quarterfinal match. So I don't know. We might be getting. I'll be honest. I do not know the Olympic tie rules after a third period.
No idea.
I have no clue.
I'm guessing they play at least one overtime
Since they're
period.
in the quarterfinals, they probably just play overtime. They don't do shootouts.
That's what I was. Yeah. Is it? Does it go straight to shootout or no?
I can't believe
I don't
soccer.
know if they have shootouts at all. It might be like playoff.
okay.
I gotta
hockey.
say,
Okay.
I have no idea. Though.
I gotta say, hockey and soccer, for every single game that ends in a tie, they should have shootouts. It's insane. It's awesome. It's crazy entertaining. It's always super fun. Every game should be decided via shootout if it ends in a tie. No more 17-0-1. No. Everything's a shootout. We get wins or losses in this league, and you can build a team around it. It's always fun. I'm pro shootout all the time. I guess we'll find out.
Time just expired in the third period, so they're going to extra time or overtime or whatever they're calling it for Olympic hockey.
You're doing overtime period.
The NHL league's got rid of ties. They have overtime losses.
I just don't know
It's
the
win,
Olympic.
Loss, overtime loss.
Yeah, honestly, I have no clue how that.
I would guess it's like playoff hockey. As soon as you get to the quarterfinals and they're on, it's OT.
Yeah, you certainly can't tie. I know that. We'll keep an eye on it. Again, the U.S. playing Sweden later on. All right, let's get into what number one was on What's Trending. Not fun stuff to talk about, but it's reality, and it has a major impact potentially on the Chiefs' 2026 season and beyond. And that is the report initially from TMZ, and now everybody's got it because you can look up lawsuits that are filed. But it was filed in Dallas, which is accusing Rashi Rice of a pattern of domestic violence and domestic abuse. And it, of course, was filed by his ex-girlfriend, mother of his children. If you guys remember in July, there was that Instagram post. I think it was July, or maybe I got my months mixed up. But Instagram post a couple months back. How about that? And then the post was deleted. Actually, it was during the season, so it couldn't have been in July. I think it was in October or November. And it was deleted, and there was no police report. And so at that point, it was kind of like over, if you will. Now there's a court document, even if it's not criminal. Does this change it for the league? Because these are serious allegations yet again, where she accused him repeatedly assaulting her over the course of their relationship all the way up until this past July, and accused of grabbing, choking, strangling, pushing, throwing, scratching, hitting, headbutting. Very, very serious allegations. According to the lawsuit, it claims Rice also exhibited violent and abusive behaviors towards her that included destroying property, punching walls, breaking furniture, locking her out of her home in the middle of the night. Also alleged that much of Rice's behavior happened while she was pregnant. The lawsuit seeks monetary relief over $1 million. He's already got $1 million settlement from the car wreck.
Yep.
And he, of course, has penalties in potentially jail time if he hasn't served it still for that. I don't know if this impacts the agreement that they had with the prior situation or not. All I know from a football, and let me just talk that, I think we all recognize the severity and very serious allegations, if in fact it's true. On the football end, though, does this change how the NFL proceeds? Because they have an open investigation already, but she had not talked to the NFL as far as we know. There was no document, period, other than an Instagram post. This is not a police report, but it is still a court document. Does that change things for the league?
So here's the thing with the league. First, he has already violated the personal conduct policy and was served a 6-game suspension as a result of that, which means if they do proceed, he would now be a multi-time offender of the personal conduct policy, in which case more than 6 games would be in line and a full season would be in play, right? A full season suspension would be in play. And so when you look at the circumstances they're in, the NFL has mostly decided to let the legal process take place. If you're Rashi Rice, what's the best case scenario for you here? You settle? Like because
Probably.
if you settle, they're probably going to suspend you under the personal conduct policy, and then you're going to have to take a 1-year flyer deal with some team in free agency and go outside that, because if you miss half the season for the Chiefs or more for the Chiefs, well, then what good are you in the free agency market? They can't proceed with you. Look, I'm about just done with it. Like, if he were just like, not even just the let's just play out the final year of his deal and move on, which I think is probably like best case scenario for his time in Kansas City anyway. Like, I'm just about done with him. Be like, you should just search for other options at wide receiver. Going back to the Mike Evans conversation, right? Maybe you need a different reliable number one or can handle number one duties wide receiver somewhere else that isn't handling it this way. Because at this point, this is not a reliable human being. But we had the conversations about the allegations when she put up the post. Mm-hmm. But now that there's a court filing, again, he can be punished again under the personal conduct policy. But it would have to be, I think, typically after the legal process is done.
Based on because now we have the full document, 6-page document in front of us. It looks like this was filed on the 16th. So was that Monday? Yeah. So Monday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, doesn't really matter, but it was filed on Monday. And TMZ was the first one to get word of this. But this is, it's a publicly available document. Anybody can look at it. And it goes into some of the details that we mentioned. There's a section of facts, and then it lists assault. Talks about Rice, the defendant, Rashi Rice, intentionally, knowingly, recklessly attacked plaintiff, causing bleeding, swelling, bruising, and other pain and physical injury to her neck, face, mouth, arms, legs, chest, shoulder. As a direct result of Rashi Rice's assault, she suffered or will suffer the following categories of damage, and it goes through a bunch and laying out the case. And look, someone brought up the question, and this is tricky, and I don't know. I don't have the answer. I don't think any of us do. Someone said, well, hey, why is if she's willing to file a civil suit, why is she not willing to file a police report? And it's a fair question, but I do not know the answer. I have no idea.
It's a very hard thing to charge criminally, just so you know, because you need a preponderance of evidence in order to make it happen. The photos alone might not be enough in order to do it. There's less requirement of proof.
But they're not even talking about charging. There's not even a police report. Like you're right. Like, do they have enough to charge? But she never filed a police report.
Yeah. Look, I can't answer that, but that doesn't
I'm not saying she's lying. I think it's a fair question that somebody's asking.
It's a fair question. It just depends on the circumstances in which you're asking it.
Yeah.
If the text line is asking that question as an accusation for, well, why is she doing it that way? That makes it less believable. I would say that's just not.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's not a good way to suggest it under any circumstance. Look, I
think this is a game changer today, man. I think this is
an actual criminal case means he shouldn't be a chief anymore. Well, we don't have to do this anymore.
Not a criminal case.
Or a civil case,
This is still not a criminal. This is still not criminal. But I think the fact that there's a legal document now with the allegations, and there's still allegations, in fairness, but as damning as they are, and it's a legal document, I wonder if the NFL proceeds differently now.
I think the only way for him to avoid a suspension at this point is to fight this thing all the way through court and never settle. And
I don't know.
In a civil case, it's almost like good luck. Like, and the personal conduct policy is vague for a reason. They wait out the legal process, but he's already violated it. Like, they could slap him with a full year suspension.
They wanted to hit him for 12 on the last one.
So, he could get punished bad on this one. Not to even mention, and I have no idea. I tried to ask around. I think it really depends. It's murky at best. You'd probably need a trial lawyer to answer this better. Like, it could also impact his probationary stuff for his cricket.
Yeah, that I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we have reached out to a legal expert. I haven't heard back. We were trying to get somebody on the show to educate us that have obviously no legal background into how does that play out with the allegations that span for multiple years up until July.
It was the fastest into the hockey game of all time, by the way.
I was talking to Spec. They did 3v3 for 10 minutes. I think it's
so
nuts.
Who won?
Canada.
As soon as it was 3v3, they were never going to a
10
shootout.
seconds.
You know how fast-paced the 3v3 is? It was going to end in a T.
It's golden goal. There was no shootout.
So Canada moves to the semis.
Yeah.
Okay.
3v3 is nuts for that amount of time.
So we'll keep an eye on the Rashi Rice stuff. It's obvious. I mean, look, I think I speak for everybody. I'm so sick of constantly having
these conversations
on this show because individuals put themselves in a terrible spot. and potentially do terrible things. Again, they're allegations right now, but yeah, I don't know how on earth you would give the guy a contract extension.
This goes back to the draft stuff too. I think it'd be a good year to not take on the had some off-field issues player. You know, maybe the academic All-American. Maybe that's the year. You know, maybe it's the year for the didn't have any run-ins with campus police during their time. You know what? And the one who just kept their nose clean, free and clean the entire time. Because the Chiefs have, and good teams typically do, can take greater risks on injured players, players with sordid pasts, because as a good team, you typically can overcome part of those things. But not having your number one wide receiver for the first 6 games last year, and at different various times having to deal with these cases, or Kareem Hunt back when he was drafted, having to kick him off your team for a stretch of time. It's like you're making things harder for yourself every time somebody on you. And I'm not saying it's 53 guys and really it's like more like 100 by the time training camp starts. I understand it's hard to keep 100 people and convince 0 of them to ever get in trouble. Okay. I'm not saying you're going to run.
Everything's on the table, though.
Yeah,
you know, everything's. I mean, if the
Chiefs,
Chiefs,
he's not a Chief by the time training camp starts.
If the Chiefs wanted to cut him next week, I would have no issue with it. They want to play it out. I guess I understand because they are allegations right now. But there is no scenario. I'm serious, Cody. I don't care if the guy has 1,200 yards next year and 8 touchdowns. I'm not giving him an extension. Absolutely not.
I think it'd be malpractice.
Absolutely not. Let somebody else do that. I'm sorry.
I mean, even in like the crazy, you're saying 1,200. I don't care if he's 16, 1,800. Yeah. I don't care what there is no number that makes me feel comfortable paying him that price. Because in the end, and look, someone's going to write some very strict language in his contract that essentially says we can null and void this entire thing if you get in trouble. And he's going to have to sign it because he's not going to have a lot of weight to it. And I still think whichever team signs him down the road probably would, get a cheaper than market deal because of all of this stuff. But yeah, I mean, he might suffer a second suspension in 4 years in the league. Giving away talent always drives me crazy too. No matter the profession, not just sports.
Wasting talent.
Yeah. Which is what it feels like this is barreling towards. Maybe it's not fully there yet, but it's certainly heading that direction.
Yeah, I think, and then someone pointed out, and I guess unrelated, but I guess somewhat related if you want to go deep into the thought process of everything. Someone was like, yeah, Rashi Rice last was on Valentine. He's got like a new girlfriend or something people are talking about on Instagram or whatever. I mean, to me, that's not really, I don't know if it's really relevant to anything that did or didn't happen. I mean, the lawsuit was filed Monday, but it's not like a Valentine's Day photo was posted and then like 24 hours later she decided to file a lawsuit because of the photo. Like, I don't think it matters. I know people are like, oh, it's because he posted the photo. Like, no. Like,
she already posted it before. It doesn't know, but and it wouldn't matter if that's why she did the lawsuit.
If it's true,
it doesn't matter what the reason is.
If it's all true,
Her call.
If it's true, then it doesn't matter what triggered her to actually file a lawsuit.
Anytime there's like a player who's like constantly getting in trouble, I always think of Gold, that line from Liar Liar when he's like, "Stop breaking the law, a-hole." It's just like, can you please stop getting in trouble? It's not asking that much sometimes. We just got done watching the Canada hockey game. It was interesting, by the way.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk some Royals baseball with Josh Vern. You're out in Surprise, Arizona. But you're right. Yes, the Canada-Czechia hockey game was awesome, even from the little bit that we were able to kind of peek over at the TV and watch. This afternoon, USA-Sweden men's quarterfinal. I told you, I'll get, when you get to medal round stuff and these in the hockey, I'll get locked in. And then NBC is smart. They're having a Snoop cast of the hockey game as well. So throughout the Olympics, we know Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg have been having some fun doing different, cameos. And they went to like the Opera House last night, I think was the Milan primetime show that they were doing. Snoop, for hockey, are you in? Are you in? Or do you want to watch the real? Heck, no, I want actual play-by-play.
It's the Olympics hockey. It feels like I want like the real
It's not
thing?
The gold medal match. So if it was a gold medal match, I want the real play-by-play. For the quarterfinal,
okay?
For quarterfinal today, I would flip over to listen to Snoop a little bit.
I guess this is tough because I don't mind Snoop as a fun commentator on some things, but I want him to have a chance to understand what's going on. And what are the odds Snoop knows anything about hockey?
Well, that's the point. He's not supposed to be a hockey expert. He's supposed to just give him his natural commentary, what comes to mind, his personality. That's the whole point. I don't want Snoop Dogg to be like breaking down technique of the hockey player.
Well, I don't want that either. But like, I don't know, just some cursory knowledge of like, Canada won and they hate each other. Plus, we get USA Canada, I think, in the women's hockey gold match tomorrow. Is that tomorrow?
Thursday night, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So
or Thursday afternoon.
I think it's like our time. I think it's like noon. Like I think it'll be on during the show tomorrow.
See, there's nothing you can do. That's what I hate. I hate like at prime time. Like I don't want to spoil it. I already know somebody won a gold medal in an event this morning, and they're going to show it tonight in prime time. And I'm like, oh, I would have liked to have watched that person
win it.
And now I already know without spoil the person that got the gold medal.
I think you can spoil it. It happened in real. We all have phones.
All right, Michaela Schifrin, she got a gold medal in the slalom or whatever.
Yeah.
I was trying to be nice, but you gave me the all clear. You gave me the all clear.
Text line can tell me
it also happened 6 hours ago, so.
I will also say, and the text line's right, 620. They're like, getting a little tired of Snoop. It
oh,
might be
you're burnt out.
Dude, if there's a saturation point of a current celebrity,
that's fair.
Snoop has got to be the one, right? Like, if you can just, what was the, we were just talking about
I think
something.
The Rock's kind of up there. There's a period of time.
Yeah. Like, there's there's a couple of like.
Kevin Hart, maybe too.
Where you just. I mean, I don't even. Does he do anything besides commercials? I guess the question I have about Kevin Hart.
I like Kevin Hart.
He hosts different roasts and he's always in a random movie in the summertime. Every 2 years.
Like I think what happens is like eventually you do kind of hit the like saturation point of like I don't need Snoop on another thing.
Okay.
I've seen him on every conceivable broadcast of anything that ever exists. Like I'd like some fresh blood in the comedy hockey circuit or whatever,
Yeah, he's on the Peacock broadcast. So it's the alternate cast.
Yeah,
you can still
fine.
watch on NBC and get your normal broadcast of the hockey.
That man
match.
will take a check.
I don't blame him.
There's not a check he'll turn down
He's
as
in
far
Milan.
as I can see.
He's in Milan, Italy for a month, just chilling.
I'm not saying I wouldn't take the money
And
to go
I
to
think
Milan.
he's making a couple mil for it too.
Oh, I'm sure he is. I don't think he's doing this for free.
Well,
I don't think Snoop's doing
of
it
course
out
not
of
free,
kindness of
but
his heart.
he's also not just doing it for $100,000 either.
Yeah. No, he's probably getting paid good money. But there is like, I do think that like, I don't know about Kevin Hart. I'm trying to decide. Drew, am I there with Kevin Hart?
I'm not saying he's like too much. I don't think anybody
He's not out
is
there as much as
necessarily.
Snoop.
Yeah. I mean,
Cody, here's what
a
he's
lot of
making.
times he's with Snoop
for
though,
the
in these
17 days he's part of the coverage. 17 days. He earns $8.5 to $9 million. Yeah, I'd be doing it whenever you want.
Of
NBC.
course I take the check. I'm not saying that.
He gets around $500,000 a day, according to a report.
According to, let's see. What,
Jeez.
I'm just looking like, I want to see a list of like,
$500,000 a day plus expenses. So he's not paying for any food, he's not paying for any travel, and he's making $8 million. What a gig! What a life! Good for you, Snoop.
This is no good. This is the Google Trends I want to know what the Google Trends are for most popular celebrity search right now.
Most popular celebrity search right this second.
Yeah. Well, I went back and I found an old list, but it was saying like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and they were obviously
that was
trending
the
for a
court
different.
case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were trending for a different reason.
Right now, I mean, unfortunately, probably one of the most Googled things right now is the whole Nancy Guthrie thing. That's awful. It's been going on over 2 weeks now.
I don't know how to properly search like people who are like Snoop, where you're like where it just feels like oversaturated with their commentary. That's
And it's not necessarily bad. It's just that he's like Kevin Hart is everywhere.
like
Snoop
I
Dogg
told you
is
from like
everywhere.
Yeah, it's like I think it happens to me more in the sports context. The way we talk about, I don't need Herb Street on Thursday Night Football in addition to it, right? Like it's good. Like just do the things you're good at, stick with it. I don't. If you're on every broadcast, I'm not. Like I just get tired of it no matter what it is. I like variation in a sports broadcast for I guess a good reason. And to your point, Snoop at least offers that a variant on that. I'm just saying he does this for seemingly everything. He'll be at the Grammys, the Oscars, he'll be the Puppy Bowl, man. He'll be on something. I mean, he's gonna do something.
Someone says, is weed legal in Italy? I have no idea. I'm guessing, but I don't know.
Oh, man. Every country's a little different.
Weed is not fully legal for recreational use in Italy, but it is decriminalized. Okay. Possession of small amounts is a civil infraction rather than a criminal offense. Look, I guarantee you, there's no way Snoop's over there and has not had a joint. Okay, there's just no chance. There's zero chance. Yeah, there's no chance. You think he's there for 18 days?
He's got $8.5 million in his pocket. He'll find somebody to give him some weed.
Yeah, there's no way. Anyway, up next, let's talk some Royals baseball with Josh Vern. He's out in Surprise, Arizona. We'll discuss Noah Cameron and what to expect in 2026. Plus, what the MLBPA situation in the last 24 hours might do for baseball next year.
Cody and Gold.
I'm just telling you the facts.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Stay warm and worry-free with Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Get a new furnace absolutely free with the purchase of select HVAC systems. The pros at Hamilton make upgrading easy with flexible financing, expert installation, and energy-efficient options that can help lower your monthly energy bills. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee, are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. Get into hockey, basketball, your favorite winter sports with same-game parlays. Live betting, earn BetMGM reward points on every bet. Take advantage of football offers found nowhere else, like a second chance on a first touchdown bet, and keep an eye out for rewards dropping in your account throughout the season. Sign up again with bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. BetMGM, make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire in 1 to 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
If you love seafood, pull up anchor and set sail for Hy-Vee's annual fish and seafood sale. Get a whale of a deal on all your favorites for Lent. Salmon, tuna, trout, and catfish. Seafood lovers shrimp, crab legs, and lobster mac and cheese. Eating seafood twice a week has major health benefits. Count on Hy-Vee to sell only the freshest seafood backed by the Responsible Choice Guarantee. All hands on deck for the annual seafood sale going on now at Hy-Vee.
One thing I love doing is going to Hy-Vee. I love going up and down the aisles and finding everything I need. But sometimes we're just very busy. With 2 girls in high school right now, we are swamped. So we use Hy-Vee's aisles online. I go to the Hy-Vee app or at Hy-Vee.com. I choose the store I want, I select my items, and then Hy-Vee does all the shopping for me. All I have to do is pick it up or, better yet, have it delivered to my home. So I'm going to save time and I'm going to save money. What could be better? Only at Hy-Vee.
Start your summer at the Lake of the Ozarks Marine Dealers Overland Park Boat Show, February 19th through the 22nd at the Overland Park Convention Center. The top marine dealers from the Lake of the Ozarks will be on site with the newest boats, personal watercraft, docks, and accessories. Step aboard, compare models, and find the perfect ride for your family. Special show pricing and experts ready to help make your boating dreams a reality. Start your summer at the Overland Park Boat Show. Visit lakeoftheozarkboatdealers.com for more information.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Drew Brees here. Whether you're on the field or on the road, having the right team on your side makes all the difference. I learned that the hard way. On the field, you don't go anywhere without a solid O-line. And when your car breaks down, you want that same kind of protection. That's why I trust CarShield. Their protection plans help you tackle expensive repairs so that you're not blindsided.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
That sound? Yeah, that's not a good sign. Hey, it's Drew Brees. And when your car starts making noises like that, a big repair bill might be coming right at you. But with CarShield, you don't have to fear unexpected breakdowns. CarShield helps protect you from expensive auto repairs. I spent my career making tough calls, but this one is simple.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
This update is brought to you by Ollie's Bargain Outlet.
Ollie's deals are so good, you won't believe the prices.
This has to be a joke.
It's no joke. Ollie's Bargain Outlet sells famous brand name merchandise at up to 70% off the fancy store prices. Hurry in.
Ollie! Good stuff, cheap!
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold. Thanks for hanging out on a beautiful Wednesday in Kansas City. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Random question of the day about 12 minutes away here on 96.5. You guys can always watch the show. Don't forget on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and X. That way you don't miss any of the shows here. Hit subscribe over on YouTube. Drew, tell me we're going to try to connect with Josh Vern. You're here in just a couple of minutes. As soon as he is available, we'll check in and talk a little Royals baseball with our Royals Insider. Don't forget, Vern's Hot Stove Show is tomorrow night. And then the first spring training game of 2026 this Friday, 2 o'clock, right after our show.
It'll feel good.
And Friday's going to be fun anyway. So Friday, Fan Club Friday, thanks to Rieger. So we'll have some drinks, but we also are going to try to see if we can't get a CAGS rookie card or something big. We have
one of those like old style Tops one.
The one the mantle. The new Topps Series 1 baseball cards came out a week ago. And so it's the first product that has CAGS rookie cards in it. So on Friday, we've got a friend that does card breaks here in town and stuff, going to join us in studio. We are going to open up a full case of Topps Series 1. Three of us will hang out. We'll rip open some cards. We'll buy into the break as well. So we'll have a few spots. And we'll open up some cards leading into the first baseball game of the year on Friday. How about that?
That'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
Do I get to choose my team, or am I random like any other
It'll be random.
person?
So you'll buy a spot. We'll both buy a spot. It'll be randomized as well. But hopefully we hit something big, man.
I might get the Royals.
That'd be fun.
If I pull a CAGS, like a numbered CAGS rookie, and then I'm not the Royals, I'll be depressed.
Yeah, but we're just going to have fun ripping cards.
Everybody just agree to let me have the Royal spot?
Ripping some packs of cards. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, look, CAGS is on his Instagram ripping packs all the time. He had like a $3,000 box of cards the other night they were ripping. Yeah. Crazy. Anyway, let's check in with Vern, our Royals insider. He's got his Hot Stove Show coming up tomorrow night. And then, as we mentioned, on Friday, the Royals in action for the first spring training game. Are you guys now at the point there you're just ready to get some games going? What's the vibe, right? I saw your video with George Brett hanging out. Moose is there. Everybody's hanging out right now.
Yeah, it's freezing cold. Might as well be a laugh out here. John Denver's full of crap, man.
What's the
it's almost 70 here today, Vern.
Well, celebrate and do the show outside then and enjoy it because I'm freezing my ass off.
What is it, in the 50s?
Feels like the 20s, Gold. I have no idea.
Really? Okay. I didn't know that. It's 59 and rainy. Okay.
Terrible.
Yeah.
58.
Jake Eisenberg shows up and everything goes to hell.
Yeah, but you know what, Vern? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 81, 81, 81. So relax. You'll be fine.
I am where my feet are, Gold. I can only take it one pitch at a time, and it's cold.
Can't look at it that way. We mentioned CAGS yesterday because we were trying to set an over-under of number of games we think he gets in right field. Do you think there's a sweet spot for him for the games he starts out there?
I want him out there every single day, including opening day. I want him digging in against Chris Sale. Him and Carter Jensen, man, for the first 2 months of the season, I don't want them thinking they're, especially opening day, I don't want them thinking they're platoon players. But, to go along with those lines, if CAGS is in the lineup, to me, he's in right field 85% of the time, barring injury to Vinny or Carter. If you're facing a good lefty, of course, CAGS is in the lineup, but Carter's in the lineup too. And if Carter's not behind the dish, to me, he's taking up that DH spot while Salvi catches. So, yeah, to me, CAGS is in right field the majority of the time where his name's in the starting nine.
How much does Carter Jensen, I guess, play a role into that even? If he, out of the gate, is just hitting really, really well, at some point it gets to where you can't keep him out of the lineup if it got to that level.
To me, Kyle Isbell's the guy that would suffer the most, especially if Lane Thomas hits. You look at the lefty bats on this team. Vinny's in the lineup every single day. We all agree.
Yep.
Kaggs and Carter, I think, can earn true everyday at bats over the first month and a half. I do think they get a pretty long runway to start the season. So there's three lefties that I think we all want. I think the Royals want in the lineup every single day, even against difficult lefties. That's where, the switch hitting ability of Isaac Collins helps in left field. And if Lane Thomas can stay healthy, I think center field could turn into maybe not a strict platoon, as 70% of the time you're going to face a right-handed pitcher. But in those 30% of the games, because Lane Thomas can go get it. No, he's not a Gold Glove caliber center fielder, but the dude can fly. So to me, Izzy, Michael Massey, those are the guys that are really going to have to earn the reps. Carter Jensen, if he and Kaggs start the season off the way we all hope that they do, to me, those are the bats that ultimately suffer.
Vern, is anyone on I guess you'd mentioned you think Carter Jensen and Kaggs will get like a long leash. We were talking about Noah Cameron earlier, and this desire by me to be like, you can't just, I'm not watching Hunter Dozier play 45 games in ineptitude while you fall 10 games back in the division. I hope Noah Cameron looks great, and I'm curious how he does look down there, but if somebody like him towards the bottom of the rotation struggles and you have so many other options, do you have to have a short leash on anybody this year?
Yeah, I think Noah Cameron's perfect. Honestly, the way that the people I talk to out here talk about Noah, it's similar to the way that they're talking about Jack, in that they need to do it again. Jack needs to do it, period. But the Royals personnel, I think, are hesitant to anoint Noah Cameron as a rock in that rotation. Now, he opens up the season with 3, 4, 5 quality starts. Yeah, that's probably his job for the rest of the season. But, Ryan Bergert, to me, is the first name that would be knocking on the door to take a rotation spot. Carter Jensen's the guy that I haven't heard much him and hawing, or, the jury's still out.
Mm-hmm.
Not hearing that much with Jensen, but with Caglione and Noah Cameron, obviously there's excitement. We all know the upside, and shoot, what Noah did last year speaks for itself, but we've all been around the game long enough. Doing it again, and then doing it again, is the most difficult thing to do in this sport. Consistency is difficult. We saw quite a bit of it last year. But 2026, a new year. Yeah, well, listen, no one's saying that the rotation is set, but everyone's saying that those top 4 spots are set. So, yeah, you can read into that what you will, that the quote-unquote jury's still out on Noah Cameron as far as, is he set to make another 25-plus starts?
If he's the 5th starter, then what is the expectation? What are you expecting out of him? And he can regress, and he's going to regress, but to what extent would you say, okay, yeah, that's fine for where he's at in the rotation, to where you wouldn't say, hey, all right, you might need to look at a Burger or somebody else?
Give me a chance to win every time you take the ball. Give me 5 innings and a chance to win. For a number 5 starter, I think 26 of the 30 teams in Major League Baseball would take that. And listen, I have no reason to believe that Noah Cameron will do anything other than deliver 5 innings and a chance to win 80% of the time that he takes the ball. He did better than that last year.
Right.
So yeah, I have no reason to believe that he's going to fall short of those expectations. But there's also the mind game of it. There's also the you need to earn your stripes in this game. And I think some of what you're hearing from the Royals organization is, not that it's going to go to Noah Cameron's head, but you want the guy to still have that carrot dangling in front of him, knowing that nothing is given in this sport.
When you look at this, I know that I'm pretty sure Q's been asked about it. 6-man rotation, I guess that's the opposite end of this. Rather than relying on him alone, the number of bodies you have, we saw a couple teams in Major League Baseball do it. Is that something they'd consider? Obviously, you never need it early in the season, but could use it eventually.
Yeah, they'll say that they're thinking about everything, but when you have Cole Reagans, Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo, Chris Bubich, when you have 4 All-Stars, I want them pitching as much as, especially with, Seth Lugo's the highest paid Royal this season. Michael Wacha's not too far behind him. Cole Reagans has arbitration, another year of arbitration coming up in 2 years. And Chris Bubich is going to be a free agent at the end of the season. So they want the ball. And with all due respect to Ryan Bergert and Stephen Kolek, who are, fine pitchers, right now, I think not viewed as anything much more than a number 5. They would have to do quite a bit to where you're thinking, okay, let's sacrifice one Reagans, one Waka, one Lugo, one Bubich start every month to make sure that we get Ryan Bergert in there.
Vern, as you look, I think it's 2 weeks now. These players will have to go report to their respective teams. Like Vinny will have to head down to Houston, and Cags will have to head down to Houston, and everything else to try to get ready for their World Baseball Classic. Is there a player you think could jump into the hey, maybe he plays more time in the big league club than we think this year, or who's going to get opportunity not with a World Baseball Classic team we might see early?
As far as guys that are sticking around camp?
Yep.
It's huge for Massey. It's huge for India. I'm really looking forward to Carter Jensen, his attitude inside that clubhouse, his voice on the practice fields with no Salvi, no Vinny, no Bobby. I think Cags has a real opportunity Carter has a real opportunity as a catcher to further find his voice, his ability to lead. So that to me is the first thing that strikes me as what I'm looking forward to when all of the big names depart. As far as getting extra at-bats, we're talking about the guys battling for that final bench spot or that spot in Omaha where you're the first one called up. A lot of these NRIs, the Kevin Newmans, the Brandon Drurys, Josh Rojas, Abraham Toro's actually playing for Team Canada, so he'll have a chance to perform for every team in Major League Baseball if he doesn't ultimately make the Royals. Now, as far as the guys that are going, I think you guys, and we've touched on this before, I think Bobby has a chance to ascend to the maybe not Shohei Aaron Judge level, but certainly, the Ronald Acuna, Fernando Tatis, where Bobby's already a star, but I think he could become the favorite player of kids in Phoenix and Seattle, favorite player of kids in Minneapolis and Boston, because I don't think anybody listening right now would be all that surprised if Team USA wins the World Baseball Classic and Bobby walks away with the MVP. I know Aaron Judge is, Captain America, but what Bob does, as you guys know, on the base pass, what he does defensively, he has a chance to really make his star shine brighter than ever.
Has he talked to you all about it? Because the last time he was in this, Vern, he was like a bench player. It was like a really weird experience. Obviously, his baseball career's come a long way since then. Has he talked about getting to do it this way?
Yeah, I'm actually scheduled to sit down with him tomorrow morning, and you'll hear that over the course of the next few weeks on the Hot Stove Show. But he's talked plenty about the World Baseball Classic and his excitement for it. It's his third time wearing red, white, and blue. But the thing is the last time he was on it, the message from Mark DeRosa, the manager, and the message from the organization was, this is going to be yours in 3 years. We want you to get your feet wet, see how Mike Trout and Mookie Betts and Paul Goldschmidt, see how they go about their business, take that back with you, and when you show back up in 2026, this team is yours. Well, here we are in 2026, and if we're being real, it's Aaron Judge's team, it's Paul Skeen's team, it's Tarek Skubal's team. Some could even say it's Cal Raleigh's team. Those four, to me, are going to be the ones that most media members, most microphones are attempting to find. Bobby isn't taking that massive, this is my team, everyone follow me. Now, he's doing that out here. I mean, you're hearing his voice a lot more. You can see how comfortable he is using that voice, being more of a leader out here in spring training. But as far as Team USA, when Bob talks about baseball, he makes it sound way too easy for how good he is. So no, he's excited for it, and but you guys know him. He's as excited for that as he is for opening day in Kansas City. The dude just Lives, sleeps, eats, breathes ball.
Do you think the Tony Clark situation does anything for MLB's negotiations, or didn't really matter who the guy in charge was? They all just hate each other anyway.
Yeah. yeah. I mean, okay, Tony Clark was never going to accept a salary cap, and his replacement will never accept a salary cap. No, it's, never go full Sharon Moore. And that's pretty close to what Tony Clark's pulling off here.
Yeah, that thing is getting uglier every
Don't set your life
day.
on fire in a single afternoon,
Right.
you know?
Right. Oh, man. Yeah. Wild story.
Josh
Vern.
Vern.
That was today. That was the Players Association was here today. At Bobby Bonilla, the current head of the Players Association, was a packed clubhouse and one of the longest Players Association meetings I can remember.
Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. Hot Stove Show coming up tomorrow night. Royals baseball in the air Friday afternoon, and he joins us each and every Wednesday throughout the baseball season. Thanks, man.
Jack Caglione on the show tomorrow night. You're not going to want to miss it.
Hey, there we go. All right. Thank you, Vern.
Thank you.
Off the phone line.
As a peel behind the curtain, when you go down to spring training and you cover the team full time, this players meeting, they do one stop at every single team individually. And you get about 5 minutes in the clubhouse and get the hell out. We got a meeting. And then you just don't know. Sometimes they're just and Vern's saying they were there for a couple of hours today. Took a little extra time.
Figured
saying,
out.
hey, go ahead and, some of those game checks you get this year, I'd set those aside. I'd put a little extra in the old rainy day fund before we get to the end of this season is all I'm saying. I'm guessing that's part of it. Plus, I got to address the absolutely insane, and I know we'll get back into it, the absolutely insane MLBPA stuff with Tony Clark, and allegedly the person he's having an affair with is his sister-in-law.
Yeah, it's ugly. It's nasty. It's a whole terrible situation involved there. Reminder, coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, we will get back into the news of the day, which unfortunately is around Rashi Rice and a lawsuit that was filed in Dallas from his ex-girlfriend, the mother of his children, with very serious accusations, again, around domestic violence, similar to the Instagram post. And is the fact that this is now in a legal document, and does that mean the NFL is more likely to hand down some sort of suspension? And this time, as you pointed out, could it be a full season suspension? And in a rookie contract, has he already played his last snap? I don't know. Everything's on the table.
That's not off the table.
Everything's on the table. So we'll get back into the 1 o'clock hour. In the meantime, it is that time.
Random question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. And over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, where we live stream the show every single day. I just got a peek. We got some new equipment coming our way soon.
Yes, we do.
You're about to see these faces in 4K.
Who knows? It could be
Real
wild.
disappointment, Didn't get to see Drew in his outfit.
I'm gonna have to
in 4K. They had to watch that in lame ass 1080p.
Whenever that day, we're gonna make sure everybody's a little cleaned up.
I'm gonna
a
get
little
some
bit
makeup.
More.
Yeah,
No
fresh shave.
makeup.
Gotta look good.
I don't think I'll go that far, but everybody's gonna see every little bit on your face when we get these new cameras.
Camera's
My
gonna
goodness.
be in our face.
Yeah.
But you can start watching the show and stream outside that. What I want to know today is, did the courts get it right? Did the courts get it right?
Okay.
Because there was a court hearing of Buffalo Wild Wings versus a defendant presided over by Judge John Tharp, who said the Buffalo Wild Wings was not using deceptive marketing by using the term boneless wings, saying that even though they are, and this is from the case, quote, essentially chicken nuggets and not deboned wings, that, quote, his complaint has no meat on its bones. So he's going for all the analogies in there. Did they get it right? Should Buffalo Wild Wings, or should any of these places not claim a boneless wing and just call it a chicken nugget instead?
The court just ruled. Boneless wings are still wings. They just ruled that they are. Look, I like both. I really do.
It is a chicken nugget. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that. It is essentially a chicken nugget. We're not crazy.
I
here.
prefer bone-in wings, but there's definitely times
Your drums are flat guy.
More of the flats, yeah. But
Me too.
There's a time where sometimes the mess that is a bone-in wing doesn't fit the situation that you're in.
Yeah, you and I have been on the air and gotten boneless wings because
boneless is just,
I got to use my hands and tight.
Yeah. So in general, give me some bone-in wings that are grilled Yachty style There's a couple places in town that have amazing wings when you do it that way. All about it. But there's also a few times I'm like, you know what? I can't get, like you said, you're at work where you can't get as messy. And so you're like, I'll just go with the fork and I'll enjoy my boneless wings. But I do prefer bone in. But there's nothing wrong with the boneless.
He said he claimed that he thought boneless wings were real chicken wings where they had just removed the bones, and says that a product like that should be called something different, like chicken poppers, was his suggestion. Doesn't mean it has to be that. Look, I think there are people who are hard and fast on boneless wings are not wings, and they should not count as much. They are glorified chicken nuggets. Are we out here trashing chicken nuggets? We don't like a chicken nugget. We're anti-chicken nuggets now all of a sudden? Is that what's going on here? I just think there's a time and place for both. My stance is that you can have boneless wings or bone-in wings, and even if they're not wings, there's a time and place for both. You know?
Yeah. And now legally we know you can keep calling them boneless wings.
From the 816, they said they prefer their Wednesday lunch partner Jefferson's for wings. They also serve boneless wings on their menu.
They do.
By the way, so no shame in that. But I just didn't know if you thought they got it right. Drew, do you think they got it right? Should boneless wings, should they have to advertise it differently?
No. I think they got it right. We know what they are. Like, they're different than the chicken nuggets you get from McDonald's or pick your chicken nugget place, I suppose.
They are and they aren't. They're just like a higher quality version of the same thing.
If anything, boneless wings are more like popcorn chicken.
That's what he said. He wanted chicken poppers.
Yeah, in terms of like the shape and size of the chicken nuggets. It's not, I don't know. We know what boneless wings are. It's not like they look the exact same as the chicken nuggets.
Can I read you some more quotes? Quote, a reasonable consumer would not think that Buffalo Wild Wing boneless wings were truly deboned chicken wings reconstituted into some sort of Franken wing. That was
everybody knows it's everybody knows what you're eating. But it still just goes with the menu. It's under the wing section and we move on, you know?
Do you know how long this court case has been in the court system?
I feel like this has been years.
2.5. November of 23 is when this was filed. And only recently a judge decided.
So the only people that really won here were the lawyers, right? Because for this case, I mean, I guess Buffalo Wild Wings from a marketing angle, they wanted to keep being able to.
But they had to pay their lawyers.
That's what I'm saying.
Like maybe this other guy was working on spec and then the person who sued didn't pay this guy the whole time. They never settled with you. They took this thing all the way to court. They didn't settle and be like, fine, man, here's $50,000. They're not boneless wings.
Why did this guy, like, what was he hoping to win out of this?
Cash.
But
Free wings for life?
How much money did he spend on an attorney just to lose?
I don't know.
Complaining over it being labeled a chicken wing or a boneless chicken wing.
Someone says, it's like asking if a hot dog is a sandwich, Jake, over on Twitch. Like, it's one of those questions you don't need to sue over. You could say, is this really a wing? If we're all together. We're sitting in Jefferson's, me, you, and Drew. And Drew could be like, you guys order boneless wings? Are those even really wings? And we're like, well, no, not really. So I guess I could call them something else, but what do I care? That's like that's a bar stool debate, not a legal court filing. He's hoping to win some cash, man. He thought he was going to get him.
It's like something.
What did you say, Gold? Yachty style? Yeah, there's a restaurant. It's grill, but they call them Yachty style.
It's not spelled the way you put it in there, but yes, in the way he put it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, but I mean, actually, frankly, Talk of the Town. You ever heard of Talk of the Town? They have their wings. They're Yachty style.
Maybe it is spelled that way.
It is spelled that way on the
They're
menu.
deep fried, right?
Yeah, they're very good. They're grilled, but then you get them Yachty style on top of it. They're so good.
So, now I kind of want wings.
Yeah, basically, they're deep fried, and then they finish them off on the grill for the char, so you get the char.
Del Rey over on YouTube said, at least theirs is actually chicken. He's like, I'm not even sure some of these fast food chicken nuggets I'm getting are chicken. Like, they might be deceiving me more with their marketing than
they all switched to the
a boneless chicken wing. At least it's chicken.
They all switched to the white meat chicken on the nuggets. Remember 10 years ago? I don't know when they switched. McDonald's was like, it was dark. There was quote unquote dark meat nuggets.
In fairness, when we're getting if you're eating like a roast chicken or turkey, I prefer the dark meat to the white meat. Don't you?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah. Last night I went.
You're just laughing. Do not take it out of context. It's a real conversation.
It wasn't about that. It was the text.
Last night I had like roasted chicken and mashed potatoes and stuff, and it was at a restaurant, and it obviously came with the white meat as well, which was good, but I prefer dark meat. Yeah, same with turkey, Cody. Same with turkey. I'll eat the white meat if it's cooked right, then it's not dry. But I'd rather have the dark meat for sure. Yeah.
Somebody said,
what's so funny?
Someone said, let's be honest, they're just shovels for ranch.
Oh. Yeah, I don't use ranch on my wings. I know. But That's why you get
even a Midwesterner.
You get a good flavor. Get a good honey barbecue, or you get a good, not habanero, but lemon pepper. There's a couple different flavors. You don't need the ranch if I got a good honey barbecue.
The way that you were also describing things, Gold, I guess I'm glad you didn't say it the way that Logan said it. This is going back to Thanksgiving time.
Light or dark, I only care about meat in my mouth.
That is an insane
Logan, that's such a Logan, what are you doing, man? You did not do yourself any favors with that.
I've said some bad things on this air. Nothing like that.
I don't know if he
wow, Cody, I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know if I don't even know if he knew what he was saying. When he was saying
crazy
it
work.
That was,
yeah, I mean,
we were talking about turkey for context in that situation.
Yeah. And then the one Gold's getting ready to play, I was talking about a stadium.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that one.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
That's even bigger than mine.
But anyway, up next, let's talk more about Noah Cameron. You asked Vern about Noah, so let's discuss what that rotation could be like. And we once again revisit a coach that is just a giant jerk in college basketball.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Man, I know some of you haven't been feeling the same. And since the beginning of the year, you're like, I'm going to make a change. It's 2026. I'm changing things. Well, maybe you didn't meet your goals in January, but over at Synergen X and Low T Center, they're extending their New Year's promo to February. So you can book a free testosterone test and pick up discounted peptides and GLP-1s while you're there, and are accepted by most insurance plans. So you can get that personalized TRT treatment meant just for you. That's what Synergen X and Low T Center have. They have some of the highest quality testosterone on the market, pharmaceutical grade. Testosterone never compounded, making sure that it's right for your body with that professionalized, individualized treatment plan. And at Synergen X and Low T Center, providers are all board certified experts in their field, not random chatbots, not AI generated. Like, they're all there. Make sure they get to know each patient personally and individually, and making sure that that is right for you. So head to Synergen X and Low T Center and check out that today by getting that free testosterone test at synergenx.com or lowtcenter.com.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door if it isn't ready. Let Overhead Door Company of Kansas City come out and perform their 14-point tune-up on the garage door and 12-point tune-up on the opener. One price covers 3 garage doors and openers. The work is guaranteed. Overhead Door Company of Kansas City, trusted here since 1927. Call now to schedule your garage door tune-up, 816-221-0072, or schedule online at ohdkc.com. ohdkc.com.
FanDuel just handed you the tool that makes every college basketball parlay worth more, the Boost Builder. Here's the deal. You get a Boost Builder to use on any college basketball parlay with 2 legs or more. Start building your combo. Add 1 leg. And add another, because every leg you add increases your boost all the way up to 105%. You decide how far you want to take it with your college basketball parlays. Just open up the FanDuel app, choose your college hoop markets, and apply your Boost Builder token and watch that percentage climb with every pick you lock in. So if you want to bet on players or if you want to bet a team to have a dominant Saturday, the best way to do it is with our friends over at FanDuel. Head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Minimum 2-leg parlay required. Bonus issued in non-withdrawable Boost Booster tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey guys, it's Rob Brennan from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, and we're excited to announce the launch of Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the upcoming World Cup with our friends over at 98.1 KMBZ.
And I'm Scott Parks from Dane & Parks on KMBZ. Beyond the Pitch KC features the biggest names who helped make the World Cup in Kansas City possible. And there was a lot of work, plus the major storylines heading into this summer's tournament.
This is so much more. This isn't just a podcast about soccer.
No, you're right, Rob. It's a podcast about Kansas City, for Kansas City, telling the story of how our town is hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes drop every Wednesday starting on March 4th, along with video clips that can be seen on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ social channels.
So make sure you subscribe. Download Beyond the Pitch KC with Rob Brennan and myself, Scott Parks, on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When it's time to replace your appliances, Lowe's has you covered. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. And members get more like free delivery, haul away, basic installation and parts, and a 2-year Lowe's protection plan when you spend $2,500 or more on select major appliances. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 2/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Excludes Massachusetts, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, Florida. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowes.com/terms for details. Subject to change.
Hey guys, it's Rob Brennan from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. We're excited to launch Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the World Cup with our friends at 98.1 KMBZ.
And I'm Scott Parks from Dana and Parks. This is about Kansas City, not about soccer. Telling the story of how our town ended up hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes drop every Wednesday starting on March 4th, plus video clips on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ social channels.
Subscribe to Beyond the Pitch KC on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Beyond the Pitch KC, a new podcast hosted by Scott Parks and Rob Brenton, telling the stories behind the World Cup in Kansas City. Starts Wednesday, March 4th on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
You guys know we got a Beyond the Pitch KC podcast coming out.
Beyond. Not beyond. Not
I said beyond.
You said beyond, didn't
Oh,
you?
that sounded like you said beyond the pitch.
That's.
Are we all saying the same word, or am I having a
it's beyond,
seizure?
Not beyond.
Beyond.
I thought you said beyond.
Beyond the pitch. Beyond. We're all saying the same thing.
This
I
word's
promise
getting
you.
really weird, and I can't listen to it anymore. I thought you said beyond.
That's what
the entire time, Drew, and he was trying to seem like he was saying two different things at a time.
Anyway.
I didn't hear the D
All
in
good.
the word. I heard beyond. You gotta articulate.
Oh, by the way, the text line absolutely called me out immediately, by the way, saying, you haven't said anything that bad? And then they listed off a number that I have been guilty of, so.
There are a number of them.
Yeah, they mentioned the gum bucket.
That's a nice
incident. The dome comment.
chooses the wrong hole.
I'm guilty of a couple. Maybe she's hard, but that other one. There's certain body parts that if they ooze, I'd be careful. That one probably wasn't even out of context.
That sounds like you guys were like training camp or something like that.
Who knows?
I think it was.
It very well could have been. Hard to say for sure.
sure.
You know me, I'm usually pretty gentle. I just grab it from this little knob here.
They love when you do that.
Why did you say they love when they do that?
I forgot about that part. Anyway, we could just play drops all day. All right,
we'll just spend the next hour. You can either get that or you can know that Beyond the Pitch is coming up.
Yes.
And available over the 96.5 The Fan page.
Yeah, in about 30 minutes, we will get back into the Rashi Rice lawsuit. If you're just joining us for the first time today, the news out of Dallas, Texas, that his ex-girlfriend, mother of his children, have filed a lawsuit against him, alleging very serious domestic violence case from that's a couple of years.
Over the last couple of years, from
yeah.
2023 through 2025. She gave a date range inside the lawsuit.
So we'll get into it again and why this feels different, because the fact that it's involving the court system, even if it's not criminal, does this mean, as Rashi Rice, like everything's on the table? Has he played his last snap? If there's a long-term suspension happening, we'll see. But let's get back into the Royals. We had Vern on. You asked him about Noah Cameron, and he was awesome last year. Came out of nowhere. Such a great story. Local ties, with St. Joe. Awesome to see. And I think everybody was rooting for him. And he had a 2.99 ERA. And he's right now looking like he'll be the fifth starter for this team. And you asked him, like, what's the leash, if you will, look like? And how's the organization feel? And Vern kind of said there that they're not wanting to just say, yeah, we're good to go. We think we can lock him in yet. No, which I don't think I would do that either. I think he's a regression candidate. It doesn't mean that he's going to suck. That's not what anybody's saying. But, fifth start, is he just a normal fifth starter? And that's fine if he is. I think if he's a guy that gives you 5 innings
constantly,
mm-hmm.
their job is not safe. My whole point with this is, and I think Vern kind of highlighted the issue. There aren't that many players you can have a short leash with. Because Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen have to be good in order for them to be a playoff team. You have to kind of play that one out. And because India or Massey are essentially just competing with each other, and you just need one of them to be consistently good, or to platoon, or Lane Thomas or Kyle Isbell, it doesn't feel like you're on a short leash with them either, other than you might just ride the hot hand, right? You might just say, oh, Lane Thomas is hitting the hell out of the ball. We're playing him more, which can be a good thing, not a negative. Cameron, and the reason why I brought him up is he is the most likely player to, if they are struggling early, you have other options who might not be struggling, and you can save yourself a little bit. And there's no rush with Noah Cameron to climb up the ranks for the starting pitching staff. He can be good for you. I hope he's good. I hope he's great. I hope he's just as good as he was last year. That would mean great things for this team. But because you have a plethora of options outside of him, I don't think his leash should be very long in the struggling department. Maybe a month, but I don't think it should be longer than 6 weeks. If he's struggling a lot, right? If he's just middle of the road fifth starter stuff, then there's no reason to make any changes. I
mean, frankly, if we get to Memorial Day weekend, Cody, and he's got a 4.89 or a 5.2 or something ERA, I don't think that's enough for them to bail. I think it would have to be bad. I think it would have to be north of 6 for them to consider 2 months into the season, and that applies to anybody other than, I think, the obvious names. Michael Wacha, you're gonna give him chances. You're gonna give Lugo, Reagan's opportunities.
Bubic too, although I feel like he could be in that category.
No,
I
Cameron
put him
would
in the
have to
fringe
be
category too, but that's fine.
Cameron it would have to be 2 months in, and he's sitting with a 6 ERA.
Yeah, no, in fairness, somebody said, I expect Noah Cameron to have a 4 earned run average, go 5 innings most nights.
I mean, that'd be a...
Well, then I'm in. I lock it in. That's not the kind of situation I'm talking about. But you and I both know that they have been awful in April, awful in the beginning of the season, and have been unwilling to move off of unproductive players fast enough. And I'm not saying Noah Cameron is definitively going to be that, but he's one of the candidates that they have to be willing to make adjustments on the fly with. That's all.
From the 816, we have the greatest pitching rotation in Royals history. You guys are out here complaining about the player that won Royals Pitcher of the Year.
I'm not complaining yet.
We're having a conversation about this. We're having a conversation about what we expect out of certain players and how confident are you in Noah Cameron, basically giving you quality outings consistently. You just heard from Vern, who talks to people in the Royals organization, that they're not willing to just go ahead and crown him, if you will. That's not the phrase he used, but essentially.
Yeah.
And so now, if you want to make the case that, hey, you're just as you're questioning Chris Bubic just as much, I'll hear that argument. I think Chris Bubic, it's because he's coming off an injury, right? It's different. Chris Bubic, though, in terms of what he was as a prospect and everything, that's why people, if he's healthy, have less questions, because Noah Cameron, guys, he was not a top 15 prospect in their own organization. I think maybe he was 13 or something.
Maybe internally. But I guess...
Cody, I could go back and look. Let me pull it up before last season. What do you think he was as a prospect? And you can say that doesn't matter anymore.
15th to 20th, probably.
It doesn't matter technically, but if you're going to say, why am I not as confident in the player? Because was last year just completely out of nowhere? Yes. And so if I go and look at the 2020, I'll go 2024. How about that?
While you're looking that up, can I point out one thing about these things? They did not pitch a dramatically different amount last year. Chris Bubich.
He was 21st, Cody.
Okay, 21st.
In their own system, not 21st in all of baseball.
Yeah. Chris Bubich had 20 starts last year. Noah Cameron had 23. Chris Bubich was more dominant. More strikeouts per 9, lower ERA, like less home runs per. I can give you the stats. He was a more dominant pitcher than Noah Cameron, and what ended up being a nearly identical number of starts. They were only a couple of starts apart. And then I also have the year before where Chris Bubich, in fairness, out of the bullpen was a dominant force. And then the years in which he was, at very least, a league average starting pitcher. Someone did. His concerns, Chris Bubich's, at least of being a league average number 3 starter in baseball, mostly surround injury. Okay, but by the way, that's what we're talking about performance. If Chris Bubich gets hurt, someone else will start for him, right? I mean, there's not I don't have to think about that part. But as far as does he perform when he's on the mound, Chris Bubich has got a long sustained history of at least being what we're asking Noah Cameron to do. A 4 earned run average, keep him in starts, which he's done in his 80 career starts or so, and been more dominant in the last couple of years.
And he deserves
a number of cases.
And Cameron deserves every opportunity, and he's going to. He's gonna be the 5th starter out of camp, and it would take, and it sounds like my leash might be even longer than yours on it. It's going to take
6 weeks.
A really poor string of outings for him to. I mean, if he's sitting there, he's got a 4.9 ERA. He's going to be the 5th starter all year.
I just feel like the last couple of years, my single biggest complaint maybe about the team from a managerial perspective, not like player or personnel or who you targeted or whatever. And look, I'm still glad they didn't end up signing Santander, even though they tried to.
Would have been one of the worst free agent contracts in Royals history.
Certainly is for the Blue Jays, who ended up giving them all that money. It's been one of their worst signings ever.
They made the World Series despite not really having him be a factor.
He didn't matter at all. They didn't even need Santander. But when you, from a managerial perspective, as in a day-to-day is, they kept Jonathan India as the leadoff hitter for like half the season. They gave MJ Melendez like 5 weeks. They gave Dozier forever. Like, they will and let themselves, I think, dig a ditch. And I'm not saying, like, Vinny Pasquantino had a bad April, too. I'm not telling you to bench him. Proven track records, guys, get more time. Just do. Right? Proven track record, they get more time. But if you're a player who, like, you were an upside guy or take a chance on guy, or we know you're bad guy, they seemingly, the last couple of years, between Q and all this, trust the advanced metrics of what the player was once on the back of their baseball card, and not what their own 2 eyes are telling them. And so, like, if you go off the back of Noah Cameron's baseball card, yeah, he should be the most trusted pitcher in the entire staff. Why don't I trust Noah Cameron more than I trust Cole Reagans? Because, I watch him pitch, and Noah Cameron was great last year, and I'm not trying to take away, and I'm not even saying he's going to struggle. He might very well come out and be just as dominant. You said, the early reports from spring training are very good on Noah Cameron, and that his
curveball looks just as great as it was a year ago.
That all those things are still working out. I'm hoping that we don't even have to enter this conversation 6 weeks into the season. I just don't see many candidates that they can eject from if things are going south to try to make sure you don't fall too far behind. And he is at least one of them because he's your 5th starter. That's all. And the fact that the Royals are treating it that way tells you at least a little something.
Our spring training coverage on 96.5 The Fan brought to you by Park and Go, the best deal on airport parking. All right, let's get to college basketball a little bit, starting with Mick Cronin. He's the head coach at UCLA. You might be wondering why we're talking about him. It's because usually when we talk about him, he's kind of being a jerk, and that's putting it nicely. He's the head coach at UCLA. Made it to a national semifinal, a Final Four a couple years ago. He's obviously a very good basketball coach. I think he's one of the most unlikable basketball coaches in the country. And this goes back to his Cincinnati days. I do think he is the prime example of like little man syndrome. And I'm the coach and I'm in power here. I want to make sure you know I'm the coach and I control you.
Drives a lifted truck to practice.
Well,
that's the
UCLA got embarrassed again last night. And it started with a player that had a dirty foul, it was technical, and he ejected his own player. That's one thing. I don't even really have as much of a problem with that, other than like you're just like embarrassing the player in that way. Here was the play-by-play of that.
Long cross-court pass. We'll get a free run for Cooper. He gets fouled hard from behind by Jamerson, and Cooper gets right in Jamerson's face because of the hard foul. Jamerson stood his ground. Mick Cronin says, "I want you out."
Yeah, Mick is sending.
Wow.
What into the locker room?
Yeah, not out as in sit on the bench. Like get your ass to the locker room. All right, we can like whatever. I think that's embarrassing the player, but it is whatever. That's still a coaching thing, and I don't have as big of a problem with that. Post-game, he's asked about the hostile environment in the student section that they were on the road and what they were dealing with.
I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section.
I just meant the overall the way that you
I would like to give you a kudos for the worst question I've ever been asked.
Did you like
You should take it.
the preparation of the?
Do you really think I care about the other?
No, I don't.
student
I don't
section?
think you care about the other.
Are you raising your voice at me?
No, I'm.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Come on, dude.
No reason.
Come on. Yes, you are. Everybody's standing here listening to you. Everybody. This is on camera. They can hear you. I answered the question. I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section. I coach UCLA. I don't care about Michigan State students. I mean, who cares?
If all he said was, I don't care about their students, and that was it, like, we're not talking about it today, it's not a big deal. He's just a jerk. Yeah. He did not have to, first of all, say, kudos to you. It's the worst question I've ever been asked before. And then even after that, I don't know if we would have played the audio if that's all it was. But then when he has to go and try to, like, demean the reporter and embarrass him.
Are you raising your voice at me?
Like, what are we doing?
By the way,
what are we doing?
First sign that somebody's not raising their voice with you is when they go up an octave. Oh, no, I think he's like, are you raising your voice at me? Oh, but first off, just to be clear, Mick, or anybody else in this, you're not my boss. So what if I am? You're not in charge of me. You can't tell me I'm not. You're raising your voice at me. Why can't it go both ways? Just because you're the head coach of UCLA, you're not the head coach of whatever paper I write for. You're not in charge of these things. This is just one of those. No one comes off more like a petulant child in all of college basketball than him. And now, in addition to it, he's having a down year. So, like, now he's acting even more like he's throwing these little baby fits because he's made the tournament a couple times for UCLA, including the Final Four run his first year. Was it his first year there at UCLA?
I'm not particularly sure.
It was very early on in his time in UCLA. But he comes off like such a little baby in all of this. Attacking a reporter for just no reason because he just threw his own player out? Because he asked him about a student section? I also refuse to believe that's the worst question he ever got. I've seen some pretty bad questions in some press conferences.
I think he was just reacting in the moment. Yeah, I think he was just reacting in the moment. His team got blown out again. So I went ahead and listened during one of the breaks. They posted the whole presser, and he was asked like 5 of the same questions, not about the crowd and stuff, but about lineup, players. You could tell he was irritated.
I'm sure he was irritated. I mean, this guy's asking.
I understand that, but our emotions get the best of us sometimes. To him,
all the time.
It happens more often than not, which I think is what has led to people not caring for him as much. The same as with Dan Hurley. The same as other coaches. Bobby Knight got irritated on a regular basis, and I think called out players on a regular. Like I think that it's the personality thing. Where if somebody else were to say something like this, it would still be a problem, but it wouldn't be as big of a deal because we don't see it as often as we do with Mick Cronin.
Right.
Like if Drum Tang said this, it would be a problem, but I don't think we wouldn't have the level of, if Bill Self said this, we wouldn't have the level of disdain for Bill Self that we would for me.
You're right, Drew, but I guess that's the whole point, right? Like, it's because he's a jerk. Because he got like heat of the moment and all that. Like, yes, but you just said it, like it happens all the time with Mick Cronin. So it's not like this idea of like, well, his emotions get the best. It's okay for him to be rude and an a-hole to everybody. I
never said it was okay.
But essentially that's essentially what you're saying, man.
I never said it was okay for him to disrespect the reporter.
You said it's no different than Mick. It's no different than Bobby Knight. Or it's no like that to me is excusing
because we used the Dan Hurley example, and you said that it's not like Dan Hurley, and Dan Hurley has never gone. Dan
Hurley is the antics on the sideline. I have no issue with Mick Cronin ejecting his own player. I have an issue with him trying to embarrass and stand up a reporter and go on the power trip.
Reporters multiple times
and go on a power trip and try to act like he's better than somebody.
Yeah, I never said that it was okay. I said that it was disrespectful, and I'll say it again. It's disrespectful.
I don't know what the take is then.
No. I agree with what you guys are saying. I think that there's more context though that just they caught him in a bad moment, and him acting like that is a bad decision, but him also acting like that, I think you can also see is it's in the heat of the moment, and you can understand
that doesn't matter.
So why he was irritated. For him to say, I don't care about the students, that's a bad question, fine. But for him to then go on and the raise your voice part is where it got disrespectful. Like if he would have said that's a bad question, I have no problem with him saying that's a bad question.
I I guess here's the part, Drew, and this is the difference between like him and other, like you mentioned, Bill Self. He does this kind of stuff all the time. And sometimes it is like a bigger point for me that I just think we excuse bad behavior in sports because adrenaline's flowing, heat of the moment. You know, we're all jacked up on energy. We can't be possibly asked to what? Control our emotions in some small way? Like, the reporter wasn't even, he asked one simple question, and Mick Cronin decided to blow up on him for no reason. Like, just no reason.
I think it's because he was getting asked, again, if for full context of the situation, he was asked 3 minutes about the game, about his team, and then I don't know where you hear something about the student section. I think that's what triggered him to do it. Like, for the full context of it, it's not like he was, the first question he was asked is, hey, this came up. He's asked questions about the game, he's asked about the team, and then I don't know where you get asked about the student section. He doesn't care about the student section.
And it's a dumb question, that's fine. And he can say it's a dumb question.
Can I say that I don't even think it's a dumb question? I don't have a problem.
But even if it is, that's if he wants to say any question's dumb, he can do whatever. But then to try to insult somebody, they'll be like, "Kudos, it's the worst question I've ever been asked." And then, are you raising your voice at me, trying to embarrass? And that to me it's so different. It's not. I don't care if he was asked 5 dumb questions in a row.
Here's the fundamental problem I have with this, though. We treat this like a power dynamic in which we do not have equal footing, and I think that is a completely unfair system to operate. So if Mick Cronin gives an answer, can I say, that's a dumb answer, what else you got? Like I say it calm? That's a dumb answer.
I guess you could.
No, I can't, Drew. That's the problem. They won't let me say that. He'll lose his mind if I said that to Mick Cronin. Yeah. So this respect part of like, oh, he's frustrated. Respect goes both ways. And people who act like Mick Cronin, who lose their mind all the time in every little small inconvenience, like I got asked 3 minutes worth of questions that I get paid millions of dollars to answer and all this other stuff. If I said that's a dumb answer to Andy Reid, I'm going to get wrecked publicly for that.
Yeah, but again,
so why is he allowed to say it? I don't think he should even say that, as a matter of fact. I don't even think he should call it a dumb question. Just don't answer it, or answer it in a bad way.
I mean,
just say, you know what, student check doesn't really matter. Thanks. And then move on. You don't have to call it a dumb question. That's disrespectful in its own right.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that would be like the respect angle is like him losing his I'm trying to go through why he went through it outside of the reason that.
But it's still making excuses for him.
I don't think he genuinely wanted to be that he wanted to be this type of jerk. Like I don't think people,
because I think some people do want to be jerks and are jerks.
You can only tell when you can only tell when it's intentional. I think if somebody's just characteristically who they are, then I don't think they're trying to be that. I think they just are. They just wear their emotions on their sleeve, and Mick Cronin is one of those guys, just like Dan Hurley, and sometimes it gets the best of them.
Drew, you're a great person.
And it's not a take. This is just how I feel about it. Like, it's not a take. There's no take about this. This is genuinely how I feel about it.
That's fine. Yeah,
no, I believe that.
You're a great person, great dude. I think Cody's right. Like you're at the station, you're probably the nicest guy at the station. I think you're giving people way too many excuses because this is the third time we've had a coach conversation about like this, and you again, this is.
You want to see the best in people.
And that is not a bad thing. I think it's excusing behavior because like, oh, he didn't mean to do it. And I'm like, I think we do that way too often with people that are quote unquote in power, and we just act like everybody's supposed to bend down to bend the knee. I was about to say something else. Bend their knees to somebody. So
careful.
That's all I'm saying. Anyway,
the whole Jerome Tane thing is, I mean, if you got players getting paid, like if you want to get mad at effort, like. You can call out effort all you want to when these guys are getting paid.
I don't think Jerome Tane's a jerk at all. We never said he was a jerk at all.
What's the worst question you've ever heard in a press conference? Mine is when somebody
the one that someone was asking about Wilt Chamberlain still being alive or whatever that was to Bill Self. Like,
were you at that
I was
press
not
conference?
there.
Oh,
but
no, I meant one you were alive at. The one I was live at was when Alex Smith got asked if he was soft in a game.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't there, but yes.
That all-timer for me.
Question.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple of bad, and I've asked some bad ones. I'm not even going to try to like pretend that I haven't. I've asked some that I really regretted. I had in the middle of a Super Bowl press conference, Doug Peterson be like, what are you trying to ask? And I was like, oh man, this is going south in a hurry. I got to figure out how to get out of this. I felt terrible in those situations. That kid didn't even sound all that angry. He was just like, I was just asking about the student section. You raising your voice at me? That's the part that gets me every time, Gold. Are you raising your voice at me? The viscera in which he says that sentence is what gets me, I think. From the 913, someone says the worst they've heard is, did Dan Kilgore practice today? That's a housekeeping question, you know? That's slightly different.
That did happen. All right, up next, let's get to what's trending and then talk about Rashi Rice and the lawsuit filed against him. And does this mean he's played his last snap in Kansas City? Everything's on the table. We'll talk about it next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. February romance once again. Buy one toilet, get one half off. Who needs more jewelry? Nothing is more romantic than a beautiful toilet. Be original with your gift. What could go wrong? You know it's what your person really wants. So call Connolly at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens. No secret here. I am a golf guy, and I have to ask you if you're ready to ramp up the excitement because golf fans, BetMGM is making your next golf tournament winner bet even better with Second Chance. What's Second Chance? Well, you ever bet on your favorite golfer to win a tournament only to see them miss the green? Well, with this bet, MGM's Second Chance promotion will get you your stake back in cash if your tournament winner bet finishes in second instead. That's right. Simply bet on any player to win a scheduled golf tournament during a promotional week. If you're right, you win. But if your pick finishes in second instead of first, you get your stake back in cash. Watch your favorite players go for the win all season long and bet knowing you'll get your stake back if they finish second. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only, Missouri only, subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please play responsibly.
Are you stuck staring at your W-2? Are tax refund worries holding you back? You probably have FOMO, the fear of messing up. The fix? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve. Or your money back. It's time to overcome your fear of messing up and get your taxes done right. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
When shopping for a new auto insurance policy, AAA could help you customize your coverage to fit your unique needs and budget. Trust AAA Auto Insurance to help you find the balance that works for you. See how a simple switch could make a big difference. AAA, we're always with you. Visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC.
If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business? Ah.
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
When it's time to replace your appliances, Lowe's has you covered. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. And members get more like free delivery, haul away, basic installation and parts, and a 2-year Lowe's protection plan when you spend $2,500 or more on select major appliances. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 2/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Excludes Massachusetts, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, Florida. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your nature-made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
This update is brought to you by Ollie's Bargain Outlet.
The smartest people on earth know how to spot a good deal. That's why they shop at Ollie's first. You'll save up to 70% off the fancy store's prices. So you go, you smart and savvy shopper. You know where the real deals are, where they sell good stuff cheap.
Ollie's! Good stuff cheap! You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on what's trending, it's something we'll talk more about right after we get through these, and that is that Rashi Rice is now dealing with a lawsuit from his ex-girlfriend, the mother of his 2 kids. This was first reported earlier in the day by TMZ. She alleges that over the past 2+ years, going back to 2023 of December up until July of this year, that he was abusing her. Choking, strangling, scratch hit, headbutted over 19 months. She claims she was subject to other violent and abusive behaviors, including him throwing things at her, punching walls, breaking furniture, which led to, she says, bleeding, swelling, bruising, causing injuries to her face, mouth, arms, legs, chest, shoulders. She also claims that most of the abuse occurred when she was pregnant. We all remember there was the Instagram post last month where she claimed a lot of these same things, and then it was deleted. Well, now there's a formal, lawsuit filed against Rashi Rice.
A lot of the same stuff that was in that post, honestly, but in a legal court filing instead. Like you said, we'll talk about it here in just a couple of minutes. Next up on What's Trending, Kansas City Chiefs have restructured Patrick Mahomes' contracts, moving $54 million out of this year's deal, lowering his cap hit to a little over or a little under $35 million, saving them almost $44 million or a little over $44 million against the cap. That puts them just $14 million in the red. They can get all the way in the black if they want, just from a simple cut of Jawan Taylor. So not all their cap problems solved, but certainly the single biggest step. That is the 4th consecutive year they have moved money and restructured Patrick Mahomes' contract, this time for the maximum allowable amount in the deal. So they went for the full swing this time around. Makes me think that next year when he's an $85 million cap hit, that's probably when they tear it up and restructure or get a whole new deal in place.
College basketball last night, Kansas State was able to get a win in the first game with their interim head coach, Matthew Driscoll. They beat up on Baylor, first win in almost a month. KU and MU both are in action tonight. Kansas will be on the road in Stillwater. Missouri hosting number 19 Vanderbilt. Big-time opportunity for the Missouri Tigers to get a ranked win as they try to solidify a tournament resume for March.
Yeah, that's a big one. Big one for them tonight. We'll see. It's one of the next 2 games. Obviously, I feel like they got to win if they want to be a playoff team. It gets a lot harder if it's not that. Next up on What's Trending, the Seattle Seahawks are officially for sale. Obviously, they just won the Super Bowl. Everybody knew they were going to be for sale. That was part of the written testament from Paul Allen. They were going to have to always sell. Their job was just to position themselves outside of it. So it has commenced the formal sale process. They are expected to maybe get upwards of $10 billion with a B dollars, which would obviously be the single highest amount of money ever paid for an NFL team. They've selected the investment bank Allen and Company and the law firm of Latham and Watkins to lead the sale of the process, it says.
Next on What's Trending, the Big 12 Conference today announced that Grammy Award-winning global icon DJ Khaled will headline the Big 12 basketball tournament's after party on Saturday following the men's championship game. So Big 12 tournament's going to be awesome to begin with, and if this is your thing too, maybe you want to just hang out around Power and Light, because as you guys know, especially if we can get, could you imagine if we got this weather? I don't think we will, knowing our luck. You watch, it's going to be 50 degrees and rain.
Sometimes it is nice at the Big 12 tournament, though. You get good weather once in a while.
You get on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if we get good weather, P&L is bumping, but I'm worried that it's going to be like 50 and rainy during the Big 12 tournament. But DJ Khaled, Saturday night.
You going to go?
If I'm being honest, no. Drew, myself, and Mac will be there throughout the week, though.
For what it's worth, I actually thought DJ Khaled put on a decent concert the time I saw him.
Okay.
He wasn't the headliner, but he was there. Next up on What's Trending, the Minnesota Lynx will face off against the Nigerian women's national team in a preseason matchup that'll take place here in Kansas City, April 27th at T-Mobile Center. So we'll get a WNBA preseason game coming up in April.
Might want to go to that.
We used to get some NBA preseason games here in town, Drew. I think before you got here. But we'd occasionally get the Heat came through with LeBron during that era, and Oklahoma City came through. But a WNBA preseason game will get coming up on April 27th.
See what's going on at that same time
Minnesota
frame.
Lynx got any good players? Who's their star?
Nafisa Collier.
Unfortunately, I mean, it's not. If it was Indiana or something, then we'd be. Then it would sell out. It would sell out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. All right, let's talk more about Rashi Rice.
Okay.
It sucks to talk about.
Has he played the last snap as a Chief? Genuinely, if you had to guess right now, I kind of feel like, yeah.
It's on the table. I truly think if you want to tell me you think he's done playing, okay. I'm not going to argue. I think that's a possibility. The difference versus the Instagram post was it's a post on Instagram. It's deleted. There's no police report. The NFL opens an investigation, but if she's not talking to the NFL, not much is going to come from it. And at that time, we said, hey, I'm not giving this guy an extension, but I do think he'll be able to play. But I'm not giving him an extension. Now, obviously, not giving the dude an extension. It's a contract year for him. But if the fact that there's now a legal filing, even if it's not criminal and it is just civil, the fact that exists, does the NFL view it differently? He's already been a violator of the personal conduct policy.
He's under review for this one.
He's already under review for, it's open.
Yeah.
The NFL wanted to suspend him 12 games. We know the reports from this past year. He gets 6. So if you're saying it's his last game because you think there's a chance the NFL suspends him for the entire season or 12 plus games, then yeah, I can't argue with that. Yeah. I don't think he's getting cut tomorrow, if that's what you mean. However, everything is on the table. And, if these allegations are remotely true, then his career is over.
I got to say, there is a better case if you're the Chiefs to let him go than to keep him at this point. As far as the tipping of the scales between everything else that took place, the legal process that's already been done, the suspension that's already been done, hell, the performance on the field, I lump it all together. And then you put this on the scale, it tips it in that he doesn't need to be a Chief scale anymore for me, right? If it was always a balancing act of, here's the potential versus whatever, this is it. He shouldn't be a Chief anymore. I think there's a pretty good chance he's not a Chief anymore. I think better than not chance that that's the case. And they're going to have to solve their problems via free agency, via trade, which I think we can talk about tomorrow, via draft at number 9, which, again, reopens that possibility between Tate or Tyson or Lemon or whoever might be there then, because as it sits right now, and I understand these are allegations, he's been on the team for 4 years. He's had a massive injury for one of them. He's had, he got suspended for 6 games in another, and now he's facing another possible suspension. Just so you know, if you're a multi-time offender of the personal conduct policy, the next suspension is not going to be less. They're not going to hit you. They're not going to be like, oh, yeah, all good. We'll just do the regular 6 that we've done for domestic violence cases before. No. It's going to be worse. They're going to go for 6 full season. They're going to try to hammer him. And so his career is in the balance, is the truth. Some other team would take a chance on him, even if the Chiefs cut him, even if he got suspended for an entire year.
Sure, as long as there's no criminal charges and stuff come forward. Again, right now this is just civil.
It's
a civil suit. The victim is seeking at least $100 million according to the law. Or $100 million, sorry, $1 million, not $100 million, $1 million according to the lawsuit. He's already got the prior instance, as we all know, that he's still trying to get figured out in terms of reports are he's not paid out that settlement. He was on a rookie contract. This dude doesn't have a lot of money. He needs to play football in order to pay any of these claims. If in fact there's an ultimate ruling on this upcoming
who knows
lawsuit.
What happens? As you remember, there was some complaints that the payments were coming in a little bit slow on the previously settled lawsuit. That again, those were reports. I don't know how that was going down, but there were some complaints on the plaintiff side of that saying that the payments are coming in slow. Now what? He's being sued for another $1 million? He hasn't even made any money. And some of this goes back to the normal stuff, which is no matter your field, you're an artist, radio host, a great accountant, I don't care. If you are incredibly talented in your field and then you continue to do boneheaded things all the time, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see people who have more talent in anything that they do than you, especially if that's the thing. I've never wanted to be a professional football player, but if I did, and you're watching that, you're like, man, if I had your talent, if only I, that kind of stuff. But I'm tired of it. The guy... And we always get texts like this, 913, innocent until proven guilty.
Sure,
This is
absolutely.
America. Innocent until
It's
proven
also
guilty.
this is also a lawsuit. This is also not a criminal case. But I got you.
And I think where we get mixed up in that sometimes as it relates to like the way a team handles something versus other stuff is that is as it relates to a court of law. He deserves his day in court to go through the process, to figure out whatever else to do. He shouldn't just have to pay that money because somebody, whatever.
For sure.
But as it relates to a team and the way you operate a team, it doesn't have to operate that way. That is a legal tenant, not a team operating tenant. Not a Odyssey couldn't come after me if I was accused. That's just not how the rest of it works. And so,
sure.
And he's just been in a lot of trouble. I'll tell you this much. They cut Kareem Hunt for less. The video always gets you.
The video, and he lied, right? That was the whole thing. The video, and he lied to the organization.
Yeah.
And we don't know, to this point, I don't know if Rashi Rice is, I have no idea. Has he told him that it's all false? I have no idea what he is. Clearly, the Chiefs have talked to him. I mean, come on. Yeah. Before even today, I'm talking about the Instagram post. They obviously had a conversation.
I imagine that if he had told the Chiefs that everything she is saying is the truth, that he'd be off the team. So do I think when asked, do I think he has admitted guilt in any of? No, I don't think so. And again, it's just an allegation right now. I get it.
Maybe it's all fake. I have no idea. It's pretty damning, though. I'll tell you that, given the track record.
And there's some photographic evidence and some of the stuff that she filed and all that. So we'll see which way it goes. But if he there is no solution for this for him unless he is willing to accept a serious suspension. Because if he pleads this case, if he just takes a settlement and he takes not pleads because it's not.
Is she willing to settle? Who knows? I mean, the lawsuit was filed. We're so far from anything
but I'm just saying,
happening.
Because the NFL anymore waits until all the legal proceedings are done in order to handle any of this stuff. So I don't think anything's going to happen tomorrow. I don't think the NFL is going to announce a 10-game suspension for Rashi Rice under the personal conduct policy because a lawsuit was filed. They wait till the end now. They didn't used to, but they do now. So if he settled the case with her, then I think the hammer comes. So he'd have to see. The only way I think he avoids a suspension at this point is if he sees the entire case through to the end and wins in civil court. That's the only way that I think he doesn't get suspended. And I don't think I'd be surprised if it went down like that, just knowing how the legal process typically works and how civil cases work under a general term. And so he's likely to get suspended either for the Chiefs again this year or for whatever team would give him a contract the next time through.
Let's just play it out. Again, this is purely a hypothetical. If, in fact, the NFL does suspend him and he misses a huge chunk of the season, or you think he is, or the whole year, whatever, do you get enough clarity before the draft? Does it change how you approach the draft? Does it change your free agency at all? No matter what, I think no matter what, to me, this is his last year in Kansas City anyway. So
but I need options now this season too.
If he's unavailable, it's a big if, but if he is, then it's worthy and Royals right now on your roster. That's it.
And how many yards did Royals have? 40?
Yeah, he didn't. He played like one game, so roughly, as far as multiple games he was active.
Relying on Royals is because I saw somebody send out Royals season incoming. Are you nuts? He had 4 yards last year. Even in a come up in year. 100?
So I think it would make drafting a wide receiver at 9 a necessity if you knew that ahead of time. I would think it would also mean that you've got to be aggressive on a Romeo Dobbs. Heck, even in this scenario, Pierce. Mike Evans, I told you I really don't want him, but in this scenario, Tyreek Hill, why you're going to cut Rice and then bring in somebody? Why would you deal with? I mean, to me, they're too close to each other. Sorry, I just think that'd be terrible.
I think that the obvious answer would just be like a free agency period. And again, I think we can talk trade tomorrow. From a free agency period, the obvious answer is Evans. Pretty much that's all you've been hoping Rice would turn into anyway, right? I mean, truthfully, Rice's ultimate ceiling as a player was Evans. 1,000 yards every year, 80 to 100 catches every year. Just, get your job done, lunch pail, go over the middle, catch a couple of jump balls. That's pretty much what you were trying to turn him into anyway. And you're only trying to squeeze out a year or two of it until you can solve your problems via the draft or something else. I mean, look, again, the Evans part, if Rice is off this team, let's say next week, I'm immediately on the phone with Mike Evans. Hi, would you like a job? Immediately. Because Alec Pierce doesn't even fit the model of what you would be missing in that case. Dobbs doesn't exactly fit the model of what you'd be missing. Mike Evans does. He's like the exact player you'd be missing.
Or at 9, that's the Mekhi Lemon type of receiver we've talked a lot about.
Outside of it. Oh, I definitely think if Rice, for whatever reason before, and gosh, if you're the Chiefs, this is the other part of the problem. This goes back to like the way they drafted McCole Hardman, because we know that had something to do with the looming possibilities with Tyreek. And he didn't end up getting suspended, but they drafted based on that. They kind of need an answer on they got to decide what their plan is with Rice before. Are we writing this thing out and just see what happens and contingency be that maybe he gets suspended, maybe he doesn't, but whatever, he's going to be on our team. They got to decide on what they're doing with Rice before April, 23rd?
For what now? The draft?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We have flights are booked. I don't remember what day it is. We're going there.
But I'm just saying they got to make their decision on Rice sooner than that. I think we'll have an answer on it. I think if he makes it to the draft, then he's likely to be a member of the team in some capacity next season. Because I think if they don't, then the whole draft plan's changed and everything else. And it all just kind of becomes a mess, and you got to change those things and everything else in between. From the 9-1-3, Alec Pierce is going to get grossly overpaid. He is going to get paid a lot. Somebody said Sky Moore's a free agent. What do you think about bringing him back, Gold? You ready?
No.
Sky Moore era?
No, but I mean,
Resurgence?
No, but
is D-Rob? Let's get D-Rob back.
But I will say, we asked.
I don't want either of those. I'm just joking.
We asked, does Tyquan Thornton want to come back if his role is going to be the same? Well, if something like this happened, all of a sudden, a different type of receiver.
Well,
but still,
might grow.
Yeah. So he's another name that, you would keep an eye on.
But then you do really run into, and I don't want anybody back, but you do, if Rice wasn't on the team, all of a sudden I do get talked into, gosh, do I need to get Hollywood back on a 1-year deal? His projected number is $5.5 million. He knows the offense. Oh, do I got to get Juju back? Like, I do kind of seat myself and slink into the chair and ask the same questions that I've been trying to avoid this whole time. And the type of signings I've been trying to avoid this whole time, which is just some other wide receiver who's never put up big numbers here, but will be available cheap. And at some point, you got to have bodies on the field. And as it sits right now, they don't have enough players at that position. And Patrick Mahomes is going to be like coming off a major injury. It's like, this goes, and that, or maybe it's Love instead of let's be good at something else. I talk myself into a weapon a lot more, I guess, in that scenario, or the free agent signing or the other stuff in between. But we'll talk some trade stuff tomorrow. Big game tonight for the Tigers, by the way. You're going to watch MU or you're going to watch KU tonight?
Are they on at the same time, or are they a little bit different?
That's a good question.
There's a buffer there or not?
Well, Kansas playing Oklahoma State. That game sounds boring.
Hopefully that game's just not close, and then
that game's on NBC Sports Network.
Which one? Sorry, the KU one. Is it?
So.
It's on Peacock.
It is on
8
Peacock.
o'clock.
Yeah. Well, I do have Peacock, but I don't know, if that game's not close, I'll pivot pretty quick. I'm guessing MU's on like ESPN or SEC Network.
SEC Network, I think, is what they're on.
They're 8, same time.
Same time. I'll start with the KU game, and then hopefully I don't have to watch.
When will someone invent a TV that I can have two different apps pulled up at the same time, so I can just multi-view?
If you have YouTube TV,
my
I think
own
you
world.
Get NBC Sports Network. Like you can watch Peacock games on YouTube TV.
Right.
Like yesterday,
then we'll go multi-view.
Because yesterday the Michigan Purdue game was on Peacock, but I got it on YouTube TV because they. I don't know.
Perfect then.
I was able to watch it on the regular.
I guess you're right, because for the NBA games, I've been able to not have to go to the Peacock app when I've been able to just go.
Like those late night ones. Yeah.
That's true. Yep.
I just want somebody to invent a TV that allows me to
two different apps at one time. And you can watch,
look, it's a rare case, admittedly. How often? Like I'm not going to put
Amazon Prime on Thursday nights and something else is what you're saying.
Like a basketball, baseball, or like exactly that. A Thursday night football game's on that I'm interested in, and it happens to be at the same time that a ALCS game 5 is being played, and I want both, and they're on two different apps, and I want the ability to multi-view without being in the same app. I don't think that's that crazy. It's not crazy of an ask, is it?
No,
we're in 2026. I agree. It's 2026. We should be able to do that.
We got Elon's out here saying he's going to live on the moon in 10 years.
What?
He's
I didn't see that today. That was today?
Did he say that?
Dude, like 5 years ago, he said he was going to Mars in 10 years. Or 10 years ago, he said he was going to Mars. So I'm not going to take him at his word.
Live on the moon.
Let's put it that way. But he definitely said something about living on the moon.
A self-growing city on the moon within the next 10 years, pivoting from his previous stance to the moon was a distraction.
To Mars? 10 years ago, he said he was going to Mars. He has not been to Mars since.
He wants to build a catapult on the moon. That's what he said.
To where?
With a Gauss cannon.
He says the kind of things I'd roll my eyes at. If Drew and I had been like 3 bowls deep in a basement, I'd be like, Drew, what the hell are you talking about a catapult on the moon for?
It will use a magnetic field to accelerate objects to extremely high speeds. Instead of shells, the installation will launch ready-made satellites that will enter lunar orbit overcoming gravity with kinetic momentum. The technology will save fuel and reduce logistic costs, as the moon has significantly weaker gravity than Earth. He says it's a necessary step in scaling his AI empire. You have to go to the moon.
Trebuchet on the moon or nothing.
It's difficult to imagine what an intelligence of that scale would think about, but it's going to be incredibly exciting to see it happen. Okay. All right.
We just need to stop with the AI stuff until it gets out of
hand.
hand.
It's not ever stopping in our lifetime, I don't think. Unfortunately. It's the future.
Until it's not.
I mean, I don't think in our lifetime AI is not going to be a thing.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll that's if we're just getting started. I'm not saying there aren't
We're getting
major
a really deep conversation in the show.
We need to
two
stop.
days in a row.
How did we end the show yesterday?
We ended the show weird yesterday too.
How did we end the show yesterday?
We got into, I don't know, man. We're talking about Stalin statues earlier today, and now this, and then yesterday we ended the show weird. I don't remember how, but we got into something.
I wasn't here, so it was JT. JT was here.
That's
we got
true.
into something like different in the show than we were anticipating. And now we're just talking about catapults on the moon.
Yeah.
Could have talked about anything, you know.
At least the moon, you can come back. You know, the Mars mission, like living, like once if you're living on Mars, you're living on Mars. You're done. You're going to die on Mars. The moon, you can come back.
Funny timing, by the way. Earlier in the show, I had mentioned, I said, could I tell Mick Cronin, you're the worst coach in UCLA history? And he said he's not the worst. It's probably Steve Lavin. Steve Lavin just got fired by San Diego, just so you know.
Did he really?
Yeah, he really did, according to Field of 68.
Sorry to hear that.
He was 11-17 overall and 5-10 in West Coast Conference play.
It's a tough conference to be in.
I don't even know.
I
didn't know he was a head coach there either.
I know we're excited about like the Big 12 tournament, ultimately March Madness.
Yes.
I do love though that first week before Big 12 tournament, all the small conference tournaments where truly like everything's on the line. Their whole season is just for that day.
It doesn't matter what you did. You're 22-4, but you still have to win this tournament.
Or you were awful and you were 10-23, and somehow you won 3 in 3 days, and you're in the final for the MEAC or whatever, and you got a chance. I love that. Like I won't watch like the first round games, but I love if it gets to a semifinal and final, and it's like some team that probably has no business making the tournament, but hey, it's an auto bid league.
Like UMKC has no business making the tournament. They'd be awful. Could you imagine?
It's not going to happen, but that would be the most
on a high note.
Be the most hilarious thing.
Honestly, if they make the tournament, hand it over to Turgeon now. You're done, Menzies.
You're saying let Turgeon coach in the tournament?
We're trying to get. Well, they would be the dead last seed in the entire field.
They'd be in one of the play-ins in Dayton.
Wins.
Which actually, I think if you're
they'd be the worst team to ever make the NCAA tournament.
Cody, you would rather UMKC be in the first four, because at least if they win the game somehow, then that counts as a tournament win instead of being
it'd be first
in
four
already and having to play a 1.
I don't think that's going to happen.
UMKC against Arizona. What the heck with the spread?
Turns out to the tournament in 3 years, you know?
In 3 years.
They've never even been to the
tournament. Cody.
I don't actually believe that. I just want to say it.
Build that man a statue in downtown Kansas City. Then
I wish
happens.
him all the success in the world. I hope. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go, and I plan on going to a game or two next year.
He's doing a good job going to all the he's bouncing around all the high schools.
You got to build the relationships, get the local KC talent, find out who are the hidden gems, and get these high school coaches to hopefully, tell some of these kids to talk to you a little bit as well, and see what happens. But it's